Let's see. We are live, and I'm extremely excited because today we are celebrating our 100th episode, Michael Dean. What you got to say about that?
I thought you were about to break into some "We Are Family."
No, but actually, what I want us to break into, because I have 100 miles per hour on here, and I thought maybe since we can't play this because I don't want the strings to.
Where's our music at? Good morning, everybody.
I got music, but before we get started with our normal, I just wanted to do something special and sing this like 100 miles per hour, but just the chorus. And then we'll get started with our regular stuff. This is how we're celebrating 100. All right, so we're going to say, that's why I got to get on my own way. That's the new golden rule. Enjoy the closest human. I'm much too hot to be cool. 100 miles per hour, baby. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I need a lover that can slow me down. Somebody that'll make me shout. All right, 1 episode. All right, now we can go into.
All right. I should have said, Christopher Trey, you've been working on that all week, haven't you?
No, actually. I wanted to do something fun and out my comfort zone for the 100th episode.
Hey, started singing. I was like, okay.
Yeah. All right.
That's what you do after 100 episodes. You can just come online and sing to the world. You know, like,
yeah.
All the confidence in the world. You've done this 100 plus times.
100 times, even though I can't sing, but that's all right. And also, I just got to give thanks to the one and only Prince Rogers Nelson for giving us songs for every occasion.
Yes.
I can't wait for our 200th episode so I can sing 200 balloons.
What would you say? 200? Was it? Oh, wait, what's the song with the balloons?
200 balloons.
200 balloons. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So we got Myron Scott. We got Cassandra. So Myron actually is first in the chat. I don't know if you've ever been first in the chat, Myron. So
what about Mr. Scott?
That's incredible because Cassandra Bradley is second in the chat. Who's normally first in the chat. And we got an AT-alien wishing us a Merry Christmas. And we got April Watson from Tampa. We got Anna B. We got Real Line the DJ with the Take Me With You single. Thank you so much for the congratulations on 100 of them. That's right. Were you going to say something, Michael?
Oh, no, I'm just saying 100. Yeah.
Yeah, 100. All right, we got Drea Dances from the Shy. We got Nick Felden from Denver. We got Deja Green. We got D. 100 is looking good on you. Thank you.
Yeah.
We got 71. We got Blade Brown, my alliterative brother. We got Christina Schlosser from Minneapolis. Happy 100. We got Luchas. Thank you for Vanity. On our 100th episode, we got Dr. Claw, our Purple Bars. We got Ricky Wyatt joining us. Well,
what up, Big Rick?
We got
Good morning.
Good morning. We got LW. Happy 100 from the UK. That's what I'm talking about.
Wow.
A beacon of positivity and Prince fandom. Thank you for that. I really try. Positivity. Yes. Have you had your plus sign today? All right. Dorothy Edwards. Happy 100. We got Man Ray 10. Happy 100 show. Time flies when you're having purple fun.
Right.
What up, though, Andre? Thank you so much for the happy 100th episode. We got Purple Cat Confetti. Prince vibes all day. We got Raywin in the house.
What up, Raywin?
A special shout out to the one and only Michael Dean. There will never be another. We got Purple December in Richfield down the road from me where the Cavs used to play. We got Ronald. Thank you so much for the happy 100th episode. I can't sing, but I did it for Prince. I do all this stuff for Prince. All right. because 100 miles per hour is an amazing song. We don't talk enough about how amazing 100 miles per hour is, but I am grateful that we got it on originals. That's what I'm talking about. And I wish that we could get a second originals.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool? Yes. We got Barbara Y from the ATL. Thank you so much, Raywin. We got Mira. We got Chip and Sparrow. We got Chris Bournet in the house. Chris Bournet, did you check your Facebook messages? Because I sent you a message on Facebook, FYI, Chris Bournet.
And your DMs.
Yeah. Not that kind of DM.
What's up? It's business.
I don't think I would be broadcasting that on a show that my husband watches.
100 episodes, you can sing.
Cute it. Uncle Billy Sparks, Mike.
Oh my God.
I'm sexy, but not dirty. No didn't.
Michael D trying to start something. All right, we got Sister Charles. We got. Oh, thank you so much, Blade Brown. This actually warms my heart. Prince is looking down, smirking, and smiling at us all today. That's right. I almost want to cry because that's why we're doing this. We're doing this for Prince.
Like, didn't I cancel Dean?
And we got Greg Gomez. Welcome. I don't know if I remember seeing you before.
You know Greg?
You know Greg?
Yeah.
Oh,
long time Prince supporter.
yay. Well, welcome. And we got Stephanie Mills. Thank you so much for the congratulations. We got a special shout out to the Ricky Wyatt.
He gave me the Boys to Men Ricky shout.
Oh, what's up?
We got our Happy 100. That's right, Kim. Thank you so much. Our timekeeper. We got Annie from France. We got Lori Johnson. Thank you so much for the 100th episode. All right. So Annie says in UK cricket, we call it a century. 100. We got Lori Johnson. Thank you so much. I'm probably the one who didn't look because I don't check my DMs. Good morning, JD Washington. And we want to thank you again for coming on. I can't express how amazing it was of finally, after years, being able to talk to you virtually. That was incredible. And we have, we got to give a special shout out to Brian Inglis from Australia. It is 4 a.m. in Australia, but they are here for our 100th episode, and we so appreciate you, Brian, for being.
Man, that's what's up. 4 a.m. We cutting. Brian said we cutting.
Yes, we are cutting.
Seriously.
For sure. And we got El Michelle from Frigid, Brooklyn. That's right.
Ooh.
Thank you. Yes. So El Michelle, I'm so glad that you asked. Y'all ready for the next book? Are you guys ready for the next book?
Yeah, I'm ready for the next book, Duane.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready for the next year's Jiffy. Right.
I'm ready for that.
I think
We on volume 3 for 2025.
Yeah. But El Michelle is talking about, are we ready to get started reading our second book? That's what I'm talking about.
I thought we were doing a Torres book next. That's what you had told me in my DM.
No. I don't want to say anything bad about anyone, but that is a book I would never, ever.
I'm about to say, not hardly.
No.
That ain't happening.
Not in this lifetime.
Wow.
No, never, ever. You know what's okay, but first of all, I just want to say this is a good gift to ask for Christmas if you don't already have it. Because this is what we're reading next year for 2 years.
January.
Ready?
January 1.
2 years of what the Prince do this week. This is,
2
it's
years, brother.
85 and 86.
Yep.
Yeah, and then by that time, Duane will have hopefully written the third book.
You know what's interesting is see how, well, this is a soft cover, but this thing is like, I mean, this has been thoroughly used for the podcast, right? Like I don't, Duane. There's another version here somewhere, versus this is all pristine. So it'll be interesting to see 2 years later. This thing will be all, hanging apart.
Yes.
Hey man, so that says that you've been reading it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
You know, but it's not a trophy case type thing that like.
Exactly. Yeah. This
Yeah,
is the doing the work edition.
yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we're doing this. This is our 100th episode. We are reading this book week to week, and we're going to start reading this book week to week. We do this out of love for Prince. That's right. So, Michael Dean, since you brought it up, because I've been thinking about it a lot. I've been thinking about like what book am I going to require for the students to read in my upcoming Prince course. And because unfortunately it's like a half a semester instead of a full semester, I can't, have them read everything. But I've been going through some Prince books, and I've been going like, nope. Because some of them are like a little too, let's see, how can I say, a little too liberal with their commentary about Prince, and not
like which ones you talking about?
I don't want to call them out, but I will say that I'm thinking about Matt Thorne. I love Matt Thorne's book, but I just don't know. It's so detailed that it might be too much for the undergrads.
That one.
Oh, it's fantastic. So it is. This is the first edition because he's come out with the second edition.
Oh, okay. I have a version of that. Yeah,
The Man and His Music.
It's thick.
It's very thick. So because it's a half a semester, I don't know, it might be too much for the kiddies. And then with Duane's book, because they just concentrate on a couple of years, and we're going to be talking about a broader spectrum. So I agree, Tanja. Matt's book is one of the best written. It's probably one of my favorite ones. But the one right now I'm leaning towards is actually this one. It's called This Thing Called Life by Joseph Vogel.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I like this book is because he references a lot of different articles. And so the students could look up more than just what's in the book. And it's also thematically written. It's not chronologically written, which is kind of interesting. And for those of you who are into this, Joseph Vogel also wrote a book about Michael Jackson. So yeah.
Right on.
No, Carlin's book.
You got you came, 100 episode down. You coordinate with the lights in the back with the diamonds and pearls official top that you got there. I love that.
Yeah. I had to do something different for 100. I got to coordinate. I mean, I tried to get us a special guest. It didn't work out, but
you got Ricky, and he is here. The Ricker.
Yeah, we got the Ricker. That's right. And we got all of you out in the audience who are here.
You know little Prince stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know, some Prince stuff.
Rick's official.
Yes. Rick is definitely legit. Let's see. Neil Carlin. Let's see. What's Krista saying about Neil Carlin? In a bookstore earlier this week. Interesting that there's another book with it. Oh, yeah. I didn't put that together. There's two books.
I didn't either.
This Thing Called Life. I love you for that, Chris Bournet. Oh, that's so amazing.
Neil's book.
So, is that book telling you like anything that you didn't already know, D'Angelo?
No. So you have to understand that this is like a course for people, for students who don't know anything about Prince.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so that's
You should have him read the Maite book.
Let him start with the John Brim. Back in the day, the Purple Rain. Are those things still in print? Are those?
You probably spent a pretty penny on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's be like available and all of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But this is actually for a class, though.
Yeah.
Remember. So this, Yep.
So that's what I'm thinking about. Okay. All right. We got a lot to cover. Week 49 of What Did Prince Do This Week? Our 100th episode, which I am extremely excited about. And before I forget, I got to give a very special shout out to Michael Dean. He is probably the only person who would do this with me.
Who's that?
Big Mike.
It is commitment.
The Miker.
Yeah, the Miker.
Mikey.
I'm on my jokes today, just so you know.
I love it. Well, while we're talking about jokes, I have this.
Wow.
No. I have
Well,
this.
we're talking about jokes. This guy, Michael.
No. So I have this way at the end of the slideshow, but I started watching your Patreon review of the Diamonds and Pearls box set. I have never laughed so much in my entire life when you started talking about Insatiable. Oh my God. That is like one of the best things you have ever recorded, ever. I was dying. I was like falling off the couch on the floor. It was hilarious. So I really love
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yes.
Insatiable is one of them ones, though.
Yes. And Annie, I am with you about that. That's all I'm going to say. Again, so yeah, okay. So we have week 49 of What Did Prince Do This Week? And this is a very slow read of Duane Tudahl's Prince Studio Sessions book series through an interactive, that means YOU, weekly online book club and Saturday salon, echoing the spirit of the Harlem Renaissance so that we can talk about lots of other things beyond music, like books. All right. So we're going week to week, not date to date. You can follow the detailed schedule at that QR code or bit.ly link. You do not need the expanded edition, but that is what we're reading. That's right, with the blue type, the one with the blue type. All right, Ricky.
Not expanded, but I got, you know what I'm saying? You know.
Yeah, you do what you have to do. All right, and then these will be archived at Polished Solid as well as at MD. Please subscribe, like, and help spread the word because we are talking about Prince. Prince deserves to be talked about every week. And
in a good way.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. In a good way.
Barbara Y, I see your question in there. Here's the thing. That particular episode, we play in the music as we're doing it. So it would be hard to get that onto YouTube at the moment. So, but as I always say, when the money get low, I feel you. But you know,
yeah,
hang in there. Keep hope alive.
Yes, you gotta watch it. If you're on Michael Dean's Patreon, you gotta watch it, and if you're not, you should consider.
You got $1. Barbara, stop it.
Yeah,
stop it.
Yeah,
that Lord, and we got a different podcast for that.
Also, I don't know about you, but I thought that Big Sexy was in fine form.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. It was such an amazing conversation. I really loved it. I really did. All right. And our hashtag is WDPDTW for Why Do People Dance This Weird? And if you saw the Purple Rain tour, you have to reach out to us to let us know you want to come on, or if you want to share any photos or anything you want to share with us. There is an email, WDPDTW@gmail.com. You need to let me know if you want to come on. Otherwise,
here, Barbara. God damn. Slide this to you under the table.
Oh my God. Barbara says, okay, let me get my little money out.
Your little money. We'll see how we value ourselves. Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Just tell somebody to make a stocking stuffer gift for you. Just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, actually, Ricky, a really great idea. So we've been coming up with a lot of different Christmas gifts. So you can ask for Duane's next book. You can ask for a subscription to Patreon for Michael Dean's channel, which is actually on Patreon, your podcast juice, right?
Yes, podcast juice.
On Patreon. So you can do that. All right. And this is what we're going to be talking about next week. So if you want to come on, you need to email WDPDTW@gmail.com, or it's better to reach me there because I'm on social media less and less. So if you send me a DM, it might be days before I get back to you.
But you just DM somebody, but when they DM you, you like, I ain't got no time.
Hey, cold with it, Mike. Hey, cold with it, boy.
It's cold, it's cold piece of work.
Hey, boy, look, but that's some Atlanta girls for you, boy. Hey, I tell you what, but they got game.
I see.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, take it from somebody that grew up there.
Oh my God. Yes, yes.
Georgia Tech, downtown Atlanta now.
Lord,
Engineering school full yet.
Mm.
She's still an Atlanta girl now. Hold on. She for classic.
All right, shorty.
They got some game with them now.
Well,
Trust me.
technically, Ricky, I am a Bama girl because that's where I was born.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but Atlanta raised you. I was born in Virginia, but Atlanta raised me. So
In my high school years, but in terms of my single digits, it was Alabama.
okay.
So, John B. Moody, if you have a dope Purple Rain tour story, again, just email us at WDPDTW for What Did Prince Do This Week. If you want to come on, we'd be happy to have you on to talk about your Purple Rain tour story, but we're trying to pair them with what we're talking about that week. So depending on which city you went to, it might be sooner or a lot later. So just keep that in mind. And we got Lisa Williams. Whoops. And we got an Oh Lord from Kim. All right.
Lord Records.
That's right, Dre Dances. Them Southern girls.
It's like Beverly and Mays. Southern girls.
Yes. Oh no, I'm so sorry that you're getting over the flu. I hope that you get better soon. All right. And this is an independent endeavor. The State of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. We started off with Eric Leeds and Paul Peterson from their 2017 No Words. Madison Park was the tune. I thought it was very celebratory. And here are all the players. And again, this is our 100th episode for those of you who may just be joining us right now. And we are super excited because there's one song that Prince did this week, as well as 2 studio visits. Technically, it wasn't technically 2 studio visits, but we're going to call it that way we'll find out when we start reading. And then there were 4 live shows. I've been so used to saying 5 live shows for the past couple of weeks. He's been doing 5 live shows, but this week he did 4 live shows. Thank you so much, Chuck.
You got to do it like he did Dick Clark. A certain way it's just it was hilarious.
I love it how he just kind of flicked it. Like
so disrespectful. I don't know.
Oh my God. And one of my favorite TV appearances from Prince. So let's look at November really quickly. So Prince did 21 live shows for the Purple Rain tour in November. And there was 1 video shoot for I Would Die For You from the concert. All right. So this is what we're going to be talking about this week. 2 shows at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, and then 2 shows at the Richfield Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio, and then the basic tracking of Temptation, one of my favorite songs. I'm going to get into that. And then also there was a 12-inch mix and additional vocals for I Would Die For You. All right. And let's get started with our reading on page 457. We are going to get Michael Dean to start off because you're going to be hearing from me too much today. On page 457, children, we are going to turn for Sunday, December 2nd.
Hold on now, y'all. Lord, what version of the Bible I got?
You got to have the NIV version.
All right. 457 Sunday. Is that where?
Yes.
Okay.
Second. Mm-hmm.
The venue was Maple Leaf Gardens, Toronto, Kendrick, Ontario, Canada. Capacity 17,500, sold out. Quote from Matt Fink: "It was always his decision to make show changes. And then if something had to change, we would rehearse it." Prince played the first of 2 shows at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Ontario. This was the first time he performed outside the United States since 1981. And these were the only dates he performed outside the country during the Purple Rain tour. During the concert, he dipped into his archive by once again adding songs like I Want to Be Your Lover and Dirty Mind to his solo piano set. But he also looked ahead to the future when he performed an instrumental portion of his yet unreleased, I got to wrap my head around this, Under the Cherry Moon in 84. Wow.
Interesting.
That is a head buster.
That's crazy.
Interesting.
Crazy.
I always, I don't know, but I always feel like that song is sort of Prince's take on the Sly song. I can't think of this. It's on the Riot album.
Oh, K Sarah Sarah.
No,
You said the Riot album?
yeah, isn't it? I hear the song, but I can't.
Let's see. Off that album, Space Cowboy. You Caught Me Smiling Again.
It's like a no. It's like a
Just Like a Baby.
Just Like a Baby.
Thanks to I can't say it first.
Andre. That's Andre.
Yeah, Just Like a Baby. If you kind of listen to those, you can. To me, it sounds like he's just doing that, but he just kind of freaked it out a little bit. But it's the same. How can I? Anyway, amazing that he was doing.
Could be. I mean, you know, I've heard stories that he worshipped that album some, so
Yeah, that's
could very well be.
could be.
Inspired, maybe.
Thank you, D68A, for uploading both of the Toronto shows as well as Sheila E. set from the 3rd. I'll make sure it gets in the accompanying playlist. All right. I love how okay, I'm not going to go there. So we are going to, you know what? Let me see.
You know, so I wonder if he had that title like for that song then, or if it was just like an instrumental, you know, if he titled it like Under the Cherry Moon back in '84, or if he got the title.
Yeah, that would have been interesting for sure. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, the fact that he's doing these super large stadiums now. I wonder what that felt like just to go from doing what he was doing, you know, going to just this big of a platform where and they're sold out. Where you just realize, like, man, this is really working. You know what I mean? Like, it's all clicked.
Really
it all
happening.
works. Yeah, it all works.
Really happening.
And I guess you kind of getting the feeling like he feels a little trapped by having to do the same songs. It's just an interesting feeling to have.
Hey, look, I'm sure the adrenaline rush per show was very high. You know what I'm saying? Like, like
you just hear all those people.
Yeah, like it's just, you know, from like the first number to the last number, like even with the slow periods and say the show, man, they probably went by fast for them. You know, because adrenaline was so, you know, like the adrenaline, you know, probably pumping so hard.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So we have some tickets for the Toronto show, and I love seeing the different tickets from the shows. So the one that you see on the right, we've been seeing a lot of those like Ticket Master-ish, even though it wasn't Ticket Master back then. I can't remember what it was called. And then on the left side, you see a different ticket that almost looks like a European ticket. Like if you've seen any of those Love Sexy tickets, which are some of my favorites. And you can see that there are Maple Leaf Gardens limited here. And the price was $22.50 with $20.45 for the price. And then some sort of fee for $2.05. So,
was some of the tickets we saw earlier cheaper than this?
Yes, they were like $17.50. But this is actually in Canada. So actually, I don't know if this is like Canadian dollar. I'm assuming this is like in Canadian dollars. It's probably.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. Yes, Ticketron. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ticketron. Hear that one.
Yeah. Let's see.
That's such a 80s word, Tron.
Yeah,
That was
right.
you put that at the end of anything. Oh, that was futuristic.
Megatron. All that. Yep.
And I mean, I love the Tron movie as well. All of them. Like
a new one coming out.
You know what? I gotta watch the reboot.
Have another one coming out?
Jared Leto.
Oh wow.
Yep.
So here's another ticket from Monday with a different color. Last time we had the red, now we got the brown. Then some more Ticketron tickets. which is what, again, I was used to, because that's what my Purple Rain ticket looks like, the Ticketron one. And
See my mind when I'm looking at these tickets, and I'm like, it's interesting how the traditional Ticketmaster one sort of has the way that it's printed, you know, in the way that this other one is a lot better printing. But I wonder if the decision to do those sort of Ticketmaster ones, because it would be hard for somebody to replicate at home.
Yeah.
To get that kind of print.
Yeah.
That's how I'm, man, how can we get the.
I mean, yeah, you had jokers, you know, I mean, trying to pull the flim flam back in the day. So, like, it's very possible.
Like, that's like a dot. I don't know if it's dot matrix, but it's very particular.
Yeah, it's a very particular print.
Sorry to.
Oh no, I appreciate that. I mean, because
hustler mind is like, print up some tickets, man.
That's why we're looking for the tickets.
I got the after show tickets.
Here's some more tickets from Wednesday, December 5th. And so you can see the Ticketron. So those are the Ticketron tickets. So I wonder what these other tickets are. I wonder if they're also from Ticketron, but these are actually Ticketron, the blue one on the bottom. And I think, but I don't know this to be certain, that the one at the top is directly from the Coliseum. The Richfield, like, did I put that right? Is that wrong? Yeah, that's wrong. That should be Richfield. Sorry. I did this super fast. So let me correct that on the dot. You're Richfield. And make sure that, yeah, we got that right. I'll do that on the spot.
We're live.
Yeah, because I want it right.
Ohio.
Next up is Temptation. And Ricky, I'm going to let you read that, even though we'll see how yours is different.
Yes, mine is different. It says
Thursday, December 6th.
Thursday, yeah, say December 6th,
1984.
Temptation sound check, basic tracking. The Richfield Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio that afternoon. Prince producer, Prince artist, engineers David Tickle, Rob Cubby Colby, and Susan Rogers. You want me to read that quote from David Tickle?
No, that's okay.
Okay. With the tour on its second month, Prince was once again focused on creating new music, and the sound checks were fertile ground for him, as Susan Rogers recalled. If we were in the same city and recording was always his priority, he'd come on stage at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. As soon as the lines were plugged in, before they had finished hanging the lighting and all the stuff and testing everything, he'd be on stage and he'd be rehearsing with the band. Well, that's brutal. He'd give everyone parts and start playing, and we'd record stuff as tours, sound engineer David Tickle. Then it'll be time to do the show. We'd get ready to do the show. After the show, we'd go back into the studio to record the vocals on whatever we recorded in the afternoon, and then basically mix it. I'd be going to bed at like 11 in the morning, back up at 2 in the afternoon. It was that kind of intensity. Working it for a few weeks. Prince had been testing. Okay, the audience would talk about sexual temptation at the beginning of Let's Pretend We're Married. He then decided to fold those non-musical comments into a song called Temptation. The full song was rehearsed and recorded with the band on this afternoon, but Prince got frustrated and changed his mind after hearing it filter through others. Originally, he was planning to have the Revolutions recorded because he's rehearsed it at the sound check in Ohio, observed Sheila E., saxophone player Eddie M. But after the sound check, Alan Leeds comes up and says, "Eddie, pack your bags. We're leaving after the show tonight." Prince had a change of heart, I guess, because we went to LA and he just tracked everything there. You're dealing with a situation where a guy can play all the instruments, explained Bobby Z. He can do it fast. He hears it in his head. If he can teach you a part and you have a feel to it that he didn't have, then he'll use it. Otherwise, he can complete the entire work without saying a word to anybody. It's convenience. A show in Buffalo City, New York, originally scheduled for the following day, had been rescheduled for December 17th, leaving a small gap in Prince's itinerary because of the complexity of stress of a tour, and the band enjoys the days off that were scheduled so they could recharge. Prince was fed by music, and creating new music was something that renewed him. That's my life, Prince told Tavis Smiley in 1998. I got into the music business because I love playing so much. You don't really get into the business to be a star. At least I didn't. I didn't get into it to make a whole bunch of money or meet a whole bunch of women. Just so happened, those are the things that came along with it. But
And
I
I
was
like it.
always playing a lot. uh, so today's faster version of Temptation was never completed and remains unreleased. That's
Wow.
you know, that's man. I mean, I wish somebody would really go dive into that with the revolution about those moments
Mm,
of like sound checking and then you recording stuff and then it's like, okay, y'all got 20 minutes, man, get ready for this show.
right.
Like you sound checking at 2. The show is not till like 7 that evening, you know, and like you got, chance to go eat and kind of, rest for a minute. And like, I do remember Brown Mark, I think, sharing stories of playing, like while they were, like sick or with the flu or stuff like that. But, just kind of like recording those things and then later having them come out, or recording
Mm,
stuff and not having them come out. I'm sure
mhm.
that had to be, I know they were earning that money. Let me just put it that way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you got to figure just the rush, as we say, even just being in that band at that time, and probably like, that everything is sort of working. You see the shows are like, you're just seeing that audience and all those people, and probably like, again, there's no internet, so the only way you can kind of gauge it is, what is it saying in the press and what you're seeing from the response when you go out, right?
Yeah,
Like, oh, wow, this thing is really big, and then I'm in it, and then of course, like, on their side too, they're probably like not overworked, but trying to keep up probably with Prince,
yeah,
and like, and again, this is all new to them too.
yeah,
This
yeah, yeah,
level of success, and there's never been a Prince before, so you don't know what to expect, and this guy is going hard. Like, there's no break, right? There's no relaxed time. We cutting. What you talking about?
yeah. I
And the
mean,
show
just
starts in 2 hours. We're just gonna keep moving, and then after we might do an after thing, or we're going right back into the studio.
I mean,
So
a
it's got to be a
testament
lot.
to just how tight they were. I mean, I've never heard of a story of another band doing that. Like,
Mhm.
sound check and like you're like rehearsing for 2 hours or like recording or whatever, and then you take a break and then you come back and do say the show. Like most sound checks at best maybe 15 to 30 minutes.
Right.
And then you're off, man, to do whatever, just nod to their musicianship on that.
Mhm.
That's tough. I mean, they definitely earn those accolades that say they get. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, definitely, let's not to be slept on with that.
And the fact that they're the hottest shit in the land.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, they are that thing. They are the thing.
yeah,
You're also the thing. Like, it's the most exclusive, hot ticket. The music is slam. It's just like they are leading the culture. So that's interesting.
yeah. So what I was gonna share was I think it might have been around this month. Well, yeah, like back in the day because we didn't have of course the internet and Google's and all those things. We didn't really have a lot of images until like this month of what the tour was looking like. Like we had the "I Would Die for You" video and all, but this is when like this month is when like Right On and Black Beat and all those publications got like tour
Mhm.
photos, and you could see
Okay. Right.
like the images of things that you could kind of piece together. Like okay, that's computer, like that's computer blue like outfit. I know what's being played there. You
Mm,
know,
that's what
you
you're
know,
saying.
like this is the When Doves Cry outfit. I know what's being played here, but it was the other
Mm,
pictures of stuff that you were kind of like guessing or wondering, wow, like what song are they playing here, or like what's this, and because so it wasn't like BET or like MTV had concert footage, not like that, you know what I'm saying? And if they did, it was like minimal at its
mm.
best, and it wasn't being replayed, like that often. So like these magazines getting these concert pictures, were all that you had to share, you know.
Pictures in general. Now that you say
Yeah,
that, because back then you didn't see Prince that often or Michael. If you really think back, you
right.
might see a picture in, like you said, in a magazine, but it would be months, and their look might change a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Every time you saw them, it was something to pay attention because you didn't see them that often. Like not like
Yeah,
you see people today.
yeah, and so like I mean, I guess you got to remember, like prior to the tour, the only images that you had were from like the Purple Rain movie and maybe pre-Purple Rain pictures, and then like these were the current pictures
Mm-hmm.
that you were getting.
You're still getting a lot of 1999 imagery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but these concert things were the first current pictures that we were seeing post the movie, so to say.
Peace, Barbara. Hope
Yes.
everything's all right.
Barbara, yes. Hope everything's okay with the family. And also, I want to thank you, Lisa, for giving us all of these amazing details about the show. And I would love to still have you on if you want to come on next Saturday if you feel better. Just email us at wdpdtw@gmail.com and let me know so I can give you the link. All right. So let's move on because we got a lot to cover. And this is a ticket from the Richfield, Ohio. And it looks like a, I don't know, does it look like? Yeah, it does look like a Ticketron ticket, but it just doesn't have all the color. And then this was a invitation to a WEA, WDMT, WGCL, and Brick City Productions invite you to a VIP Purple Party Thursday, December 6th, 1984, following concert, banquet room of Coliseum. Curious if anyone went to that.
Brick City Productions.
Yeah, that's right.
Sound hood.
Yes.
Brick City.
And
I can only imagine what a VIP Purple Rain party was like.
I'm sure.
Vince was going.
All right, so we got more reading to do, and it is a lot. And because we have so much to read, I'm not going to read this entire thing. So we're going to start reading at page 459. And let me put myself on camera so you have something to look at. And I'll let you look at all of us instead of me. Okay. So Friday, December 7th, Temptation back basic tracking and mix. I Would Die for You, 12-inch mix, additional vocals assumed, Capitol Studios, Los Angeles, California, 11 a.m. Open, assumed, producer, Prince, artist, Prince, engineer, David Leonard. This is a Prince quote. I feel if I can please myself musically, then I can please others too. Love that quote about scratching your own itch. December 7th and 8th were days off and scheduled for rest and travel, but Prince dedicated them to creating new music. It appears he wanted to finish his next album, which would let the world know that Purple Rain wasn't his only artistic statement before the end of the year. Now let's pause here. Now, the band had days off. Most people who have been performing at the rate that they have been performing, the main performer would more than likely also rest. But what did Prince do? Go back into the studio and record. No days off.
Hey, look, what that reminds me of? That that scene in the James Brown movie with Chadwick Boseman, and
Yeah.
then the band is like, "Hey, look, we protesting. You make us record on days off." You know what I'm saying? So we only get paid for this, that, or whatever. Kind of seems some similar, say in some ways, like Prince is like, "Hey, look, we getting it," but he wasn't as cruel as James was. But
Yeah.
you kind of just see that work ethic wise.
Yeah, work ethic. So I'm going to skip the next couple of paragraphs, but I will read the Prince quote, which is, "My inability to communicate my music. I hear it, but it has to go through someone else. That person may have had a bad day or may not think the same way I do." So I'm going to skip the next paragraph after that quote. "With this in mind, Prince took Temptation into the studio and recorded it on his own, or at least mostly on his own. Eddie M explains, we recorded Temptation because he had some really deep thoughts going on. He had a serious concept in his brain, and I think that is why he didn't want the Revolution to record it. Because of the gap in the schedule, Prince was able to travel to Los Angeles. He wanted to see one of the final shows of the Jacksons Victory Tour at Dodger Stadium, and he brought his bodyguards, Sheila E., Jerome Benton, and Eddie M., who remembers the reaction of Prince's unannounced arrival at the Jackson show. The crowd was going crazy because Prince was walking down the middle and everyone's noticing him. It was kind of a tricky thing because I think Prince wanted to go and have his presence just rile Michael's fans."
Messy. Purple mess.
Oh man.
The session began much earlier than usual so that Prince could attend the concert. And for the first time in several years, Prince booked a facility other than Sunset Sound in Los Angeles. He requested David Leonard to engineer the session at Capitol Studios. Having developed Temptation as a straightforward rock song during the previous day's sound check and gradually slowing it down, Prince seemingly still felt something did not sit right with the song. So not only did he slow down the tempo considerably, he also added a triple meter punctuation in 12/8, giving the song a broodier vibe than the almost straight up rock song it still was during sound check. As such, he then recorded the entire song with two exceptions: the final conversation between God and Prince, and Eddie M's sax work. "I came in at the end of the day and put saxophone on it and then went home. He had a lot of ideas. I think in certain parts of the song, he had me start recording from the back of the room and recording while I was walking to the mic." I love this idea. "And he had me just playing something really wild and crazy. It was just like a musical. It was really interesting because when I finally saw it come together, I was like, dude, I don't know what you are thinking." Laughs. "It was interesting because I went from this wild player in the beginning of the song and ending, giving it closure. Eddie recorded his parts from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. I was glad I was able to play something that he wasn't able to play," continues Eddie. "He was always willing to help and give people opportunities, but no one knows the music better than him. He was the one who taught me that there are no such thing as mistakes. Don't fear mistakes. Don't worry about bad notes. And that was a lesson well taught because you always grow up not wanting to squeak here and you don't want that. And that isn't how he records. And I really admired that. That becomes part of the song, like the old jazz cats or Motown stuff. It keeps it close to what it really is. He just puts it down. Too much time for him is not good. The 30-minute version of I Would Die For You was likely edited down for the 12-inch release during the session by David Leonard, while Prince attended the Jacksons concert, and vocal overdubs were probably added upon his return. Status: Temptation 8 minutes and 19 seconds was released as the final song on Around the World in a Day in 1985, and acetate for the 12-inch version of I Would Die For You, 10 minutes and 20 seconds, was completed by Bernie Grundman mastering on December 10th, and the extended version was released on December 19th. That is a turnaround. Mastered on the 10th and released on the 19th in the United States. And then there's a little squiggly. After his time at Capitol Studios, Prince left Los Angeles to rejoin the tour. He shared Temptation with the Revolution during their 5-day stay in Illinois and explained to the band that once the album was released, he was going to retire for 2 years and spend his time looking for the ladder.
All right.
Boy, the whirlwind of success for those few months got my man looking for that.
Yes. So there's a whole page. There's a whole nother page that we're not going to read because that's just too much. And I'm going to skip over to page 463 and read the final 2 paragraphs. Prince was still working with his band on new or at least unreleased music. During the sound checks in Chicago, he had the Revolution jam on songs like Feline, which was now officially removed from their family album. He would later reuse elements of it in Holly Rock, released by Sheila E. in 1985 on the Crush Groove soundtrack. Prince's focus had changed, and with the new album, he was getting closer to a light at the end of the tunnel. He was obviously ecstatic about the upcoming project, and he began playing sections of Condition of the Heart during his piano set on the first night in Chicago. The rest of the tour would feature tastes and teases of the next chapter in his musical career.
Okay, so not to skip over the fact that he went to the Jackson's Victory Tour.
Okay.
I know, but y'all think he went and they was kind of like, man, they ain't got nothing on us. Like you think he was kind of, like watching the show, like, man, that's all they got. We killing them right now. Or if he left with some like, okay, like motivated to like step the game up.
I don't know. I mean, just kind of what we would think, but I mean, it could be any of those. I kind of think he's probably just coming in there to like take some of the attention away and kind of poking at Michael, I guess. Now, is this after the James Brown?
Yeah,
this is way after.
Yeah, it's way after that.
So now he's the man. Now I guess.
Yeah,
he's just like, okay. Now, see, that's the thing. Prince is funny for doing something like that, but thank goodness Michael wasn't petty like that, because at that point in his career, like he'd have took the whole stadium with him or something. If Mike would do some crazy shit like that, walk in your show,
down the middle aisle,
yeah, it'd be over. That'd be a cold piece of. Just put the white glove in there. At that point, the light man or Prince would probably gonna turn the light over to the glove. Like, what are you doing? It's Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Prince showed up, you know what I'm saying, in his gear. Like, he didn't show up and okay, like no disguise. You know what I'm saying? He showed up.
Prince is always, he's always on, right? So he's always Prince, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't know.
Yeah. It sort of reminds me of I think it was Eric Lee's when we talked to him about the Sign of the Times. I call it Sign of the Times New Year's Eve show at Paisley Park when Miles Davis joined them on stage. And Eric said that they all missed a cue that Prince gave to them because they were watching Miles Davis. And so it's just like, sometimes you just have that star power.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get into some of the press now. As we've been doing the past couple of weeks, I'm really excited about this because we learn so much. And also it's nice to relive stuff. Okay. This is important to me and probably Ricky because this is about Atlanta. But this was in the Evansville, Indiana, Evansville Press. And this is a short version, and then I'm going to read a longer version. Short version is, rock singer's fans went crazy. Atlanta fans of rock singer Prince took his song Let's Go Crazy literally Saturday as they pushed and shoved to get in line to buy tickets for concerts, breaking plate glass windows at 4 stores.
Damn.
Prince does not appear in Atlanta until January, but the tickets went on sale at 7 a.m. Saturday, and 34,000 seats sold out within the first 2 hours. Many of the ticket buyers spent the night camped outside ticket outlets, but before the stores opened, fans began jockeying for position, and plate glass windows were smashed at 4 stores. Atlanta's police spokesman Duane Smith says it was nothing major, just crowds overreacting, trying to force their way into a line.
Man.
I was at one of those 4 stores where the windows got crashed in after me and my mom stood in line I think we got in line around 1 or 2 in the morning, and tickets didn't go on sale until 7 a.m. And when that window went down, they didn't sell not one ticket.
What? Well, so, I'm going to, this is probably going to be a hot take, but, they always say how much love, like Detroit had, Prince had for in Detroit and vice versa. I think Atlanta over the years, if you look at it, they've had a lot of love for like Prince, you know what I'm saying? And, Even back when he was opening up for Rick James and all of his shows going there, he always did well. Fans always came out. Oh man, supported. Kind of fitting that his final show was in Atlanta. Like sold out shows. So, fans kind of getting a little bit belligerent at 4 locations. That kind of sounds about right. But I would just kind of charge it. It was a hot ticket at the time. Like it was hot as fish grease. Like like that was the show that you wanted to go to that year. Like wasn't
Right.
A moment. It was like
cultural moment.
Yeah, it was like a big moment, and it was just one of the things to be at, and like you wanted to get it. Man, especially if he was coming to town for like more than just one show. So,
Mhm.
okay,
You said was it a record store that the windows broke out?
Yeah, there were already there were record stores.
yeah, but they would sell tickets at places like Turtles.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure the record store owner was like, "Ain't this about a bitch? Y'all done broke my window. I ain't selling goddamn tickets. How about that? Y'all gonna do me like this?" He's hot.
Hey, look, the store. Hey man, look, the store like insurance covered it.
How the hell with the insurance? It's that goddamn Prince.
Yeah,
but I love LTK's comment. I want to make sure that we stress. Look at how the news wasn't full of sensationalism back then. It was no big deal. Windows broke. These days, it would be called the Purple Riot, and that's for sure. And then Chris Bournet followed up with, it would have gone viral on social media without people on their phones.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Prince showing up at that victory tour would have went viral. That would have been the new. That would have been the Drake.
Yeah.
Back then.
Like funny that like Atlanta thing. I'm sure it made a small segment on like the news. You know what I'm saying? Like closing out bit. The last 2 minutes. Oh yeah, today in Atlanta news. Okay, Prince fans do this. Wasn't a leading story, but. Like they said, it was kind of just like of the moment, like, okay, yeah, it happened. Moving on.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read this a bit longer news about it with more detail. Okay. So bear with me. So I'm gonna skip the first paragraph. A handful of Turtles record stores selling tickets reported that Prince fans, many of whom camped out overnight to get in line, crashed through plate glass windows in the mad rush to get the hot tickets. The ticket went on sale at 7 a.m. Saturday. Prince was originally going to play only 2 concerts at the Omni, but 2 shows were added during Saturday's scramble for tickets. This is Omni General Manager Bob Dew, if I'm saying his name correctly. We've completely sold out. Dew said that more than 65,000 Prince tickets were sold in just 4.5 hours on Saturday. Some people began lining up outside the Omni immediately after the Atlanta Hawks Houston Rockets basketball game Friday night, he said. Receipts were estimated by concert officials to be in the neighborhood of 1 million, with tickets priced at $1,750 and $1,550. Judging from the crowds we had Saturday, we could handle at least 1 more and maybe 2 more, he said. After the tickets were all gone at the Omni, about 500 people lingered around anticipating an announcement of another show, according to Dew. It took a while to convince them to leave. There were no disturbances or problems at the Omni box office, said Dew. However, one Atlanta area Turtles manager compared the ticket rush at her store to a military charge.
Damn.
No
big deal, huh?
No one was allowed to get in line for Saturday morning ticket sales until the store closed Friday night. People were poised in the parking lot Friday night waiting for the store to close, and then everybody came, said Tammy Treadwell, an assistant manager at the Smyrna Turtles, where the front window was smashed around closing time Friday. They were all trying to get to the door first. They came right through, said Mrs. Treadwell. A lot of them were falling through the windows.
Lord.
Ticket buyers waiting in line.
Mess.
Ticket buyers waiting in line also broke front windows at Turtles outlets in Snellville, at Greenbrier Mall in Atlanta, and where I was on Candler Road.
Okay, you want to tell us something, D'Angelo? Go on, tell him. Did you do like Mookie?
No,
Oh man, Candler Road.
Welcome to the
Decatur where it's greater.
no. I was in the back of the line. I didn't go through the.
Nah,
Now you're in the back of the line.
Nah. I mean, I will say this, man. That Turtles on Candler Road like wasn't that big. It was like one of the smaller Turtles stores inside the area. It was in a strip mall, so it wasn't like it was a standalone store. It was in a strip mall, so yeah, that it wasn't.
There's some different Prince fans back then.
Yeah, what you say, Mike? Different Prince fans.
Yeah, y'all tearing stuff up, man.
Oh man.
Multiple stores vandalized.
So, I mean, D'Angelo, like when you got your ticket, did you brag like, "Hey, look, I got my,"
You didn't hear me when this window smashed in.
They didn't sell no tickets.
They didn't sell no tickets.
No, I mean like later on, like when you got your tickets, like down the line, like later on, like when you got your tickets.
But I didn't know I was going to get a ticket because we didn't get a ticket that day, and it was sold out. Remember? So I'll tell my story when it comes that time.
Oh, okay.
I thought I wasn't going to go.
Oh man!
For months, and I was upset.
Man, the Purple Riot
broke D'Angelo. Oh man!
I need a book about the Purple Riots.
Well, first of all, the fact that they said that it happened in Snellville, Georgia. Now, in this present day and time, Snellville is quite integrated. Let me say that. In 84, 85, Snellville was not that integrated. So for that joker to get rioted, I was like, that's a shock.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't us.
Hilarious.
Us, we weren't riding out that far, especially at night.
They're hilarious.
Not with those cops.
Yeah. So I love Audra's comment. I live closer to the one on Candler, but something told me to go to the Turtles on Jonesboro Road, which was a good call. And I just want to read just the last couple paragraphs. It's very short. At those stores, windows were broken because of the weight of ticket buyers who were leaning against the windows, according to authorities and Turtles officials. No serious injuries were reported.
Wow. It's funny. Was it this week or last week? I was in Seattle driving by this. I think it's called Climate Pledge Arena now or something like that. But there were all these tents out front, right? It was a row of tents. And I'm like, that can't be homeless because that's just too bold. It was right at the front. And I realized it was people camped out to see a concert. And I'm like, I haven't seen nothing like that in years. I thought you would just you order online, but apparently it was Billie Eilish, if I'm saying it right.
Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, they they had tents. I was like, I ain't seen nothing like that since back in the day. So I don't know what's going on with that. But she hitting in Seattle, like it's cold out here. It's not sunny in Seattle.
Yes.
Damn, that's some dedication. Now, Billie Eilish, maybe I need to start listening.
Well, one of my cousins loved Billie Eilish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're massive. D68A, I was at the in-store 1993. That's where I got my love symbol signed. See.
Yeah, Mikey, Billie Eilish is, I know when my middle school students, they are like in college now, like they were really big, like Billie Eilish fans back then, because I would play music in class and I would always ask for like suggestions and they were always giving me her songs to play.
Oh, okay. I know Billy Idol.
Yeah. I was a Billy Idol fan, but Billie Eilish is huge. See, Kim is saying they camped for Billy in Atlanta, in Detroit. So
I'm out the loop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old head.
Okay.
I'm a Billie Holiday.
Okay. So I just, again, because I went to the Atlanta show and I lived in Atlanta. I love seeing all the Atlanta stuff. So unfortunately, you're going to have to see some Atlanta stuff. So this is one of the ads for the upcoming January 3rd and January 4th shows at the Omni and Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And you can see outlets, including all Turtles stores. Turtles was my favorite record store. That's where I bought all my Prince stuff at the time, because I didn't know about Lil 5 Points and Wax and Facts, because I didn't have, any transportation. So that's where I went at that time for all of my my 12 inches and records and stuff, Turtles and Peaches. I don't know, Ricky, you remember Peaches?
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
They
you know,
got peaches out here too.
Turtles.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Turtles helped us fund Paisley Park.
Yes,
Hilarious.
for sure. All right. So I just kind of wanted to break up some of the articles. And I also want to put things in context. And I know that Ricky loves putting things in context. So let's look at some of well, I don't want to say competition, but what else was going on back in 1984. So the title of this is Prince Holds Album Lead. And this is from Billboard magazine. And you can see that right now, the number one single is Wham's "Wake Me Up Before You Go Go."
I have a story about that, if you don't mind.
All right, go ahead.
Like, you remember MTV used to have this Friday night video fight. I don't know if you remember, but they just had this Friday night video fight challenge thing where it would be like 2 videos against each other, and like you had to call in for your favorite video to win. And calling in was like 50 cents a call or like a quarter a call or something. And so like Let's Go Crazy had been winning for maybe like 2 or 3 weeks, and then it came up against like Wake Me Up, Say Before You Go Go. And I remember I had gone to like a high school football game, came home, and they were like, you know, Prince is kind of losing. I was like, oh no, man, my man can't go out to this song. And so I started calling. I called like about like 50 times, maybe like 10
Did they
times.
charge you for this back then?
Yeah, they was charging long distance call. I called maybe like
Your
10
parents was on
times.
you.
Oh man, I know when that phone bill came.
Goddamn phone.
Mom's was heated, and Prince still lost the Wham. And for years, I hated that song. And then I
Did
eventually,
you catch whooping behind that?
no, I ain't
Oh, okay.
but they, you know, like it was like you know how like you get fussed at, but you get laughed at like the same time. It was kind of like it was one of those moments. But I just remember I was like, he can't lose to this song, not them.
Hilarious. Well, I will say, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No.
I was just gonna say that song today, like my youngest daughter, I don't know where she's getting it from, but she sings that song like
Wow.
that song. These songs are, you know, the kids done picked up on them. I think they hear kids versions of these or something, but they still hearing them some ways. It's always funny.
Yeah. So I want to make sure that I highlight this comment from LTK because we were talking about wrestling last week with C Liegh. And in case people don't know who Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair are, but they are wrestlers back in the day. So Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair were doing their thing on Friday, and you had Prince on Saturday. So, yeah. Love that you pointed that out. All right. So let's go back to this Billboard situation here. So number 2 is Out of Touch.
Yeah.
I don't know how that
the notes. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
go.
Oh, that was a tough song.
How'd it go? Because I don't remember this Out of Touch song.
Yeah,
It's not one of their super recognizable that you could sing it to me right off the gate. I can hear it, but I can't remember how it goes.
You're out of touch.
Oh,
You're out of touch when you're on my head, when you're not around.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a tough song for Fall 84. It was a tough song. Tough song. It was a tough song. I actually bought that album, I think.
Okay, I remember that one now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Hall & Oates does not get enough
Oh,
respect, man.
They should have been on a yacht rock documentary. I don't know if they consider themselves yacht rock, but they, you know, I agree with you, Mike. Yeah, they don't get a lot of, you know what I'm saying, accolades and they should.
yeah, they definitely should.
Yeah, man.
So hopefully a Hall & Oates documentary will follow. I just love that Michael McDonald finally got his flowers. I think that is so important.
I still gotta watch that. Yeah, right.
Got to. All right, number 3 is Chaka Khan. I feel for you.
Yeah.
Three.
Okay. Sounds about right.
Love it.
Purple Rain at 4. And then Better Be Good to Me at 5, Tina Turner.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember that one. I don't remember that one.
And then I can't sing it. I can't even.
All Through the Night. I don't remember that either.
Yeah, All Through the Night. I don't remember that one. Do you remember?
Who?
Cyndi Lauper.
No, don't remember that one.
I only remember 2 songs by Cindy. Girls want to have fun and time after time.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. And she did a cover of When You Were Mine.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, she did. It's on her first
I
album.
think I vaguely remember this.
Yep. So albums. Purple Rain is number 1.
Mm.
Born in the USA is number 2. Everybody should know that's Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, it's Bruce's
Private
song.
Dancer, number 3.
I could see a Bruce Springsteen type artist rise today. I don't say anything else. Go ahead.
You think so?
It would probably have a different vibe to it. But I can see it that all American. He'd probably it'd be red with the white letters. You know what I'm saying? I could see the new Bruce. Anyway, next album.
Next album is Volume 1 by the Honey Drippers.
Really?
Yeah,
Private Dancer. Private Dancer. You skipped Private Dancer.
No, I said Private Dancer.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Honey Drippers.
Yeah, yeah. So who was in the Honey Drippers? Remember, I think
Robert Plant.
Old school.
Wasn't it Brian? Was Brian Setzer from the? Am I making that up? Somebody tell us who was in the Honey Drippers because I forgot.
I thought it was Robert Plant. Okay.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know.
Wait a minute, no, not Robert Plant. Wait a minute, yeah, man, the Led Zeppelin singer.
Yeah, that's Robert Plant.
Yeah.
Let me see. I even do some Googles. Okay.
Missed that album.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember the '85 album, but I don't remember the '84 joint. Okay, I could be.
Yeah. So the you're right. Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck, Paul Schaefer, Nile Rodgers.
Okay.
Brian Setzer. So I was.
Okay.
Was this like a super group or something?
Yeah, it was a super.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed
But
it.
it had like a '50s vibe type.
That's why I was thinking it was like some older group. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
It was on their Bruno Mars early. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Electric Vibe. So Electric Vibe saying the Honey Drippers are a combination of Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, Jeff Patch. The touring version that Robert Plant did on his Shakin' and Stewart tour in 1995 featured Brian Setzer and other folks. Yeah.
Sea of Love. Okay, I remember that.
Oh, you remember that? I don't remember that. Okay. All right. And number 5 is Big Bam Boom, Dare Hall and John Oates.
Yep.
And everything comes back full circle because we talked about this last week or the week before last, the Women in Red.
Stevie. Yeah.
Stevie always got something. Man.
Now we're going to skip the country singles.
Wow. Wham didn't make the
No, not the
I'm
album.
trying to see, do I even know any of those songs on there? But I would have to hear them. I don't know them by title.
Well, the Judds are on here for number 6. Why Not Me? But I don't remember that song. For adult contemporary, number 1 is Mr. Lionel with Penny Lover. But I don't remember what Penny Lover sounded like.
I do. He had the Purple Rain theme video. Him and the dude fighting over a girl in the club, something like that, or whatever. So, yeah.
And number 2 was No More Lonely Nights by Paul McCartney. Don't remember that song.
That was from the movie Give My Regards to
Broad Street. Vaguely remember that.
Yep.
And number 3 is Sea of Love, which you talked about, Honey Drippers.
Okay.
Number 4 was All Through the Night, Cyndi Lauper. I don't remember All Through the Night. Number 5 was Wake Me Up Before You Go on the adult contemporary chart, which I find interesting.
Who's next?
Okay, Wham hanging in there.
And number 6, Do What You Do, Jermaine Jackson.
Oh yeah, Jermaine with the ballad.
Okay, Jermaine, I'm giving you some smoke this week, but I'm gonna salute Jermaine. Salute Jermaine.
So how does Do What You Do go?
How you do when you do what you did to me? Because Iman was in the video, like supermodel Iman, like David Bowie's wife.
There's only one Iman. So
yeah, just wanted to make sure people knew who I was talking about. She was in the video. It was kind of a ballad.
Okay.
Hey, Jermaine was hidden.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to the soul singles. Number 1, Solid. I know that one.
One of my favorites of all time.
Ashford and Simpson.
Love it.
Ashford and
That's what this. Okay.
There you go.
Like you.
Yeah, man. And my man, what was it? Ashford?
Yeah,
What's
Big
the
Ashford.
dude? Ashford.
Big Ashford.
Man,
Big Ashford.
you had to be a man's man to have that long curl perm, like, and was with the beat. And yeah, man, Ashford was cold with it,
Big
and he had his lady with him.
Singing in the rain in the tunnel in the park.
All right.
He was like from the same mold of my man from Earth, Wind, and Fire. They don't make brothers like that now.
Oh yeah, Maurice White.
No, not Maurice. The bass player.
Oh, Verdine.
You know, they don't have brothers like those are rare brothers like that. They have the drip and they men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh man.
All right, number 2 is Cool It Now. New
Yeah,
Edition.
was big, yeah.
And then number
They were
3,
big at the time.
I Feel For You. So Shaka was on the soul singles and the singles. Purple Rain was number 4 on the soul singles versus 4. Well, he was 4 on the singles as well. 5, you guys are gonna have to help me with this one. Friends, 5 Minutes of Funk, Houdini.
Oh, yeah, Houdini.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know that song. Stop playing.
How many
I don't know it.
them friends?
Oh, that one, yes.
And you can
Of course I know that song.
Friends. And then 5 Minutes of Funk is just woo.
So that's the name. Is this 2 different songs or is the name of the song Friends, 5 Minutes of Funk?
Boy, I know that joint used to have a school
To the bottom, to the top, to the bottom. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Stop
They
it.
used to have a school gym rocking. You heard that?
Yeah, man.
Come on, system, boy. 5 Minutes of Funk.
All right.
That's when hip and rap songs was like, man.
That's when we had bass players on the rap.
Yeah, everybody was jamming. So.
Shout out to Larry Smith, who produced that. He don't get credit for being a producer. That brother, he did some hits.
Yep.
Okay, so my question was, is it the same song or 2 different songs? Friends and 5 Minutes of Funk.
2.
2. Okay.
It's 2 different songs, yeah.
Or he probably go.
All right.
Is it 2 different songs?
Are we ready for number 6, which is Don't Stop by Jeffrey Osborne?
Nah, I
I
don't
didn't hear that one.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
I was hoping you 2 would.
Only one I is then did Jeffrey can I woo woo woo?
That was like 2 years later.
Oh my, oh my.
Hey,
Man.
Hey, look, quiet as cat, man. Jeffrey sang some ballads.
Hey,
man, especially LTD.
Yeah,
Concentrate on You and Love Ballad. You know what I'm saying? Back in Love Again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, that's my man.
And what's that? Holding On. Holding On.
Yeah, again, another rare. Don't have any brother singers like that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Tank. I put Tank. But back then, the singers, they didn't have their foolishness was, we didn't know that they might have been crazy or something because we didn't see them talking. You just saw their songs. They weren't like Teresa. So, one more, can you? Let's sing. We don't need to know all that. You ruined
that song. I think I remember the video, but I don't remember the song.
We got to keep it moving. Just because we still got a lot to cover, and we already had our time keeping. All right, so Edmonton Journal. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to start some paragraphs down. It says, after witnessing an exhausting 4-hour performance, I still can't report any firm conclusions on what the man is all about. Through 9 costume changes and a set list that rivals Springsteen's value for money ethic, here's a man who dedicates a song to the creator, intoning God made you, God made me, why can't we live equally, only to disappear from the stage and emerge in a bathtub, wailing suggestions inappropriate for print in a family publication. What I do know is that my employers provided me with a transcendental pop music experience I'll never forget. Being 20 feet away from the lad delivering a remarkable guitar solo on Purple Rain ranks up there with seeing the Beatles and Stones long ago and far away. Like the nightclub scenes of the film, the tour is a murky visual with state-of-the-art lighting finding its way through furious clouds of stage smoke. While you couldn't describe staging as understand. Well, you couldn't describe staging as understated. Oh, okay. It ain't the flash that sells this show. The revolution is one superb group of accompanists, backup players who understand the meaning and value of the craft. Special kudos to guitarist Wendy, no surnames in this band, Jack, whose tasty fills and yeoman vocals, if I'm saying that right, were a particular delight. The man himself is, well, a star and an exciting, adventurous musician and singer and live performance, performing every song on Purple Rain with highlights culled from earlier albums. Little Red Corvette, 1999, and Dirty Mind were standouts in a non-stop program that only lagged in an extended solo portion. In the same bizarre way that Little Richard melded together black and white music, the almighty and the unspeakable, this skinny guy with trousers, seemingly inspired from a cottage summer Chesterfield, is testing the tensile strength of rock and roll. It makes for a memorable evening, and I dearly hope the rumors of an Edmonton date pan out. How do you like my timbales? Queried Sheila E. I'm not going to read the rest of that because it's about Sheila E. But I love that this writer mentions the laser light drumsticks.
Yeah, what was that comment he called a revolution with backup players?
He said backup players who understand the meaning and value of the craft.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't necessarily have called them. I mean, at that time, I wasn't thinking of them as being backup players.
Yeah, I'm sure they wouldn't like that either. Especially since it's, they're billed as Prince in the Revolution.
Yeah.
But they're a writer. Okay, next up is Campbell loses bid to bar Prince. And I think, again, this is really important to put Prince in context in 1984. Again, like my grandmother used to say, it's not always a flower bed of roses. Ken Campbell failed in his bid to have controversial rocker Prince banned from entering Canada for 2 sold-out Toronto concerts. Campbell, head of Renaissance International, a fundamentalist religious organization, has sent a telegram to politicians last week asking that Prince, real name Prince Rogers Nelson, not be allowed into the country. Pointing out that Canada...
I'm sorry.
Pointing out that Canada once banned drug guru Timothy Leary from entering Canada, Campbell argued the country had a sacred duty to refuse this royal star of raunch, this molester of souls, this Pied Piper of porn, permission to seduce youth.
Yeah.
Well,
whose album and film Purple Rain have left him riding a wave of popularity, has always relied heavily in his music on a celebration of sex in all of its varieties. Campbell said he felt he had to speak out because while adults would not be affected by the rocker's lascivious message, impressionable youth might be.
Yeah, this was the
listen. Let me say this real quick. This sound, I can understand why this sounds like, whoa, this sucks. But at the age that I'm at, I can understand the logic behind what he's saying, particularly if that person probably doesn't really know anything about Prince and is just going off of what you've heard, sort of thing. I will say this. This is yesterday. I went across the street to the coffee shop, and I had on my little Prince medallion thing, right? And the lady working there, she was my age. I've talked to her before. She was like, "Oh," first she said, "Oh, I love that. What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, this is the Prince symbol." And she's like, "What? I should know that. I was married to him." And she laughed, and I was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Yeah, but he didn't know that." I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I would love Prince back then." I was like, "Cool." And she's like, "Yeah, that was my first concert." And I said, "Let me guess, Tacoma," which is the Purple Rain tour that came here. She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I was there too." She's like, "Yeah, I was 14." And she said, "But don't tell anybody. That's when I lost my virginity at that night too." I was like, "Oh, okay, you had the full-on Purple Rain experience from the movie, huh?" I was like, "Okay."
Mike,
so I mean,
right now, man, she watching talking about Mike done told everybody.
No one knows who this lady. I was like, man, even in 2024, you're still hearing that was her Prince story, but she was 14, and that led to her doing other things that night. So I can understand why somebody would be apprehensive. Not that I agree with any of this, but it's interesting to read an article like that you're saying. So anyway, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this was the some of the after effects of what the Tipper Gore thing,
Mm.
you know, starting to take flight, gain some momentum, or that you heard about when he came into towns. Uh, I can't go any more than that because after you know when I share my Purple Rain tour experience, I'll go into some of the stuff. But yeah, this kind of was the things that we were starting to hear
Mm-hmm.
as when the tour was gaining like momentum, was that you had people like this guy kind of uh, you know, trying to spearhead protests or things like that. So
Okay, Kim.
So one of
It's fast. I heard that in a minute.
yes, that's the word my grandmother used to fast and mannish for the boys.
fast hell.
Fast
What'd you
for
say,
the
Matt?
girls, mannish for the boys.
Oh man,
Manish, yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, boy, that's old school
That's
Southern right
right,
there,
old
boy.
school
a little fast tail.
Man, I ain't heard that in a minute. That little Manish boy touch me.
Lord.
That's Alabama. I'm
I
just
ain't
like,
heard that in a minute. Oh man, I ain't heard that in a minute.
I actually want to say a comment about Dr. Claude's comment. It made more sense to say that about Dirty Mind Prince and even Controversy Prince, but Purple Rain. The reason why it's happening for Purple Rain is that Dirty Mind Prince and Controversy Prince weren't that popular, meaning like
They weren't mainstream.
Prince wasn't mainstream yet. And so it was because people were just the masses
Mm-hmm.
we're just beginning to find out about Prince, and that's the reason why. And also, yes, because of Tipper Gore and the negative publicity. Oh, yes, Love Sexy, little hot mama.
There you go.
Mhm. Love that for sure.
Hey, hey, man. 14-year-old me would have been mad at her, but you know, hey,
Oh,
you know what I'm
Lord.
saying.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next.
All right, schoolyard.
Yeah.
Prince fans, I love this photo. This is from the Cincinnati Post from Cincinnati, Ohio. Among the hundreds of Cincinnatians waiting in line for tickets to a concert by Prince in Riverfront Coliseum, January 22nd, were these cold fans. First in line at the Coliseum ticket windows after camping out overnight in temperatures in the low 30s.
Woo, woo. Well, you know what? Props to the Cincinnati fans back then that did that because brother is not built for cold weather. You said low 30s?
Yes, low
They
30s.
went hard. They went hard in the paint.
All right, so that was a really quick article, and I want to read this longer one. So tickets for Prince's January 22nd Riverfront Coliseum concert didn't go on sale until 10 a.m. today, but ticket buyers who wanted to make sure they received good seats were lining up at the Coliseum's box office as early as 1 a.m. Sunday morning. By 11 p.m. Sunday night, despite a steady rain and overnight temperatures that were expected to dip below freezing, more than 100 Prince fans wrapped in blankets and sleeping bags had gathered. And by 1 p.m. Sunday afternoon, Prince mania had spread as far as Norwood. That's when Matt Hutchins, 19, and John Muth, 20, set up camp outside the Record Theater store in Norwood Surrey Square. Bundled against the cold, the two Xavier University sophomores parked themselves on the mattress they'd brought with them as they did their homework and waited for the chance to buy 8 tickets each, the maximum number of tickets allowed per person in an effort to discourage scalping. Describing themselves as avid Prince fans, they said they'd been disappointed at missing Prince's surprise appearance September 23rd at Bogart's and had been unable to get tickets for Prince's concerts at Lexington's Rupp Arena or Cleveland's Richfield Coliseum. I can't believe you guys are here so early, Norwood Police Sergeant John P. Murphy told the pair. Murphy, who was on duty as a store security guard, said Record Theater management thought the concert would attract a heavier than usual demand for tickets, with as many as 100 Prince fans expected to be waiting to buy tickets at the store's Ticketron outlet when it opened at 10 a.m. Monday. Why would anyone wait 21 hours in such cold, nasty weather to buy a concert ticket? Because we love Prince and we want to be real close, Hutchins said. And he added with a laugh, because we're idiots. But we figured that on January 22nd, it'll be worth it. And I love that article.
Just reading that, thinking about it, and even they do this today too. But what is it that, what is it that drives people to wait long hours for music like that? Like, it's just, I mean, I know it, but I'm just curious what you guys think. Like,
Well,
where you would stay outside and brave. It's not just a Prince thing.
Yeah,
but
D'Angelo.
So I actually did that this week, not overnight, but I waited an hour to get in the Blue Note to see Corey Henry because I wanted my pick of the seats, and it was freezing. And I had on, hats, scarves, gloves, had on a mask just so that I could get the warmth on my face, because it's the power of music, Michael Dean, and more specifically, the power of live music. And we're talking about musicians of the highest level. Like, you just want to be there. And then, especially those two guys, they had already missed out on 2 performances. So they were like, we're going to get these tickets. They had already missed out. So I've been there. I understand. Ricky, what you got to say?
Kind of, like I guess what you said. I mean, again, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil my experience of sharing my concert experience for this. But I think, just for me personally, being a musician and going to see like other musicians that I like, respect, and kind of say admire, and just the love for music kind of drives that. Everybody's different, when they go there for different reasons, of course. But I mean, like that's kind of it. I know for me, I mean, so even in this day and age, like like there's no guarantee that you can see this artist again, or it'll be on YouTube or something, but it's not the same. But when you get a chance to go see somebody, it's like their rare moment of like you're there and you're in the same building with them, same presence type thing. So, that's it's like D'Angelo said. I mean, it's like the power of music. And then I think for ultimately for anybody that does it, you in some way or form or fashion, you love music enough to kind of go to those lengths, whether it's standing outside where it's cold or standing outside where it's hot. So like where it's crowded and humid and muggy and things like that. So I think it's just a love for music and love for that person or that group or that band or that artist's music that makes people do it. But ultimately, I think it's like the love of music, or at least that particular music. When it makes people want to do it, because say I mean, like we're highlighting the people that did that, but there were plenty of people that's like, man, I ain't going to stand out there. Yeah, and it's cold. I mean, say like I'm sure like with this Corey Henry show that said D'Angelo's talking about, I'm sure there were people like, man, I ain't going to stand out there and all that. It's like, what I'm saying, it's like 30 degrees below, say whatever, and they was like, I'll catch it on YouTube. It'll be uploaded tomorrow morning.
It's not the same though. I mean, live music.
No, it's not.
Even live recorded music is not the same as live music.
Yeah. So
I like what Dorothy said something too. So I've seen people do that for these special store sales, especially back in the 90s. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think it's the same sort of mindset. It's almost, it doesn't matter necessarily what it is. It's a certain thing where people line up for Nikes or Jordans or video games or something.
I mean,
certain type of I gotta have this. It's going to be available at this time. I think somebody said something about fear of being left out or something too.
Yeah,
I don't know if that plays into it, but I think it is certainly a mindset that you got to have whatever that thing is at that time, and you're willing to go great lengths to get it. And I wonder, and the thing is, does technology sort of take away that?
I mean, I
part of it a little bit, but I don't know.
I do miss the midnight sales at Tower Records.
Yeah, those are great.
And then like record stores used to have, like that used to be great, going and like they knew what you were coming for. So they had plenty copies. You go get what you got, man, and then coming home, staying up late, knowing that you had to work the next morning. You know what I'm saying? Staying up late, like listening. So I do miss because like there's a wait period where like, oh look, new Prince music. All right, there's like a midnight sale. I can get this, man. So before the Napster and the bootleggers and all that type thing kind of came about, you could go and get stuff, and so I think with concerts and shows, it's kind of like the same thing. Look, it's like a hot ticket. I gotta see this person live or like this show type deal, and like D'Angelo said, like like seeing something live is way different than like listening to it on audio.
Sure. Yeah.
And
it's literally the vibrations, like your body literally can feel, especially the bass or the kick drum, and and just the energy and the electricity in the room. Like, it's
I think
like
a lot of the energy. As you think of movies, you think of the Marvel phenomenon, or people used to have to go the day it came out, or special showing before it came out the day, and it'd be packed out. But it was, that's not live, right? But it's the energy of going that first time, and it's going to be a lot of people there, and everybody's all into it, and you want to be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, plus being like a musician that's done gigs, I can say, like what D'Angelo said, when the crowd is energized and you come on stage, you feel energized.
Absolutely.
And so you're performing at a different level as compared to if they, the crowd came in, everyone's kind of like,
you got to get them energized.
Yeah, right.
And then in that position, right?
Yeah. But, like they're feeding off that energy. So like that positive, vibes and vibrations, and then that energy is great because, once they feel that and feel that love, you're going to get a phenomenal show. And, like you leave kind of thinking like, wow, like that was like the greatest thing ever, so.
So this is an interesting comment from Love Sexy. Can you say more about this? Because I don't know if I'm following you correctly. So Love Sexy 71 says, I don't know. I think the live experience today is different from 80s and 90s. The new live is the people going live at the concert on social media, not the artists.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I think I think that phenomenon, we always hear people complain about this, and even the artists, lock the phones up to sort of combat this. But I wonder now, as I think we're talking about it, I wonder if that phenomenon from the audience's point of view, because they're the ones spearheading that whole thing of holding the phones up.
Yeah.
I think it's almost, I wonder if they're trying to share that experience that we've been talking about of being there. Like they're trying to share it in a sense of, yes, I'm here, but y'all can see this is what I'm doing. Like, we're feeling that. And I don't think we didn't have a way to show that at the time back then, because I'm pretty sure if those phones were available back then, we would have had those things up trying to show like, look where I'm at. This is great. You're not here. I don't see why we wouldn't have done that. And to me, I think that's kind of what it is. And I think it's also the point that it's still so new to us with these phones, even though they've been around for a while. I think we still haven't gotten over the excitement to be able to show, I assume one day that will wear off, but I think we're still in the glow of, we're so excited to share this experience that I'm at a live show. And I don't think we still haven't learned how to handle that. And I think from the artist's point of view, I can see that they may think that's overpowering what they're doing a little bit, because they're doing this, just staring at them. But I think it's just a symptom of, it's that same sort of, I want to share the joy, but who anticipated it would be done this way with the phone? That's just my thought.
So this is LTK's response, because they posted, the original comment. I take videos of concerts so I can go back and relive them. I can care less about showing other people.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because like what Michael says.
See, if you wouldn't go live though, I'm talking about people who go on live. I'm not talking about.
I mean, I don't know if that's more of a, hey, look at this great show, or like, look at me and look where I'm at.
It's a combination.
But just to give you an example, there was I forget the name of it. It was called, I guess it was Prince for You, and it was like an orchestra that toured back in like 2018, 19, and they were doing like orchestrations of Prince tunes.
Mm-hmm. And
I remember going in, and took some videos of like a couple of tunes, but it was kind of like what this person said. I took videos because I was like, oh my God, I know they did this song. You know, it was a song that I never thought that they would do. And like I had to, you know, I just recorded it. And I'll be honest with you, you know, I'm afraid to record stuff at shows because I don't want to miss anything. Like, you know, like I don't want to, you know, just the point of, you know, kind of pause and record. Like you could miss something that's just dope. And then you're like, oh damn, I missed it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so, you know, and then you can only record for so long. So like, you know, I'd rather just be in the moment and like enjoy it. If I catch it, I catch it. You know, if I don't catch it on video, then it's cool. You know, I'm kind of old school, like back in the day, like you said, Mike, like how would you know somebody went to a show or something? Most times they'd have a t-shirt that said Prince Live 84, 85. Like, oh yeah, you went to the Purple Rain show. Look, I went. Or like, you know, like somebody went to the Fresh Fest. They have a, you know, like a tour shirt or something on. You know, I'm still like one of those people. But that's just me. You know, I don't, you know, it's not a whole lot of artists that you know, I go see these days. I was kind of glad to hear in some ways when like Tony toured last year and they wouldn't allow people phones in say the shows.
Yeah, I love that and I hate it only because I couldn't go to the shows and so I never have gotten to see.
Hey, look, you and me both. Like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So shout out to man Kanisa. You know what I'm saying? I know she hooked us up with some tour stuff. You know what I'm saying? So if you're listening, phone home.
I was gonna say too. I think the thing about concerts is, and this I don't know if it's just me. I have a hard time remembering a concert. Like if I think about a Prince show, I've went to so many Prince concerts, but it's hard for me to remember the actual show itself in detail. The ones that I've been to, like I can't really remember. I went to Love Sexy, and I really can't remember. I remember watching it on video years later, but I don't remember the actual show. You know what I'm saying? I remember that I loved it, but I can't really remember the details. I don't know if that maybe that's just me.
Man,
no, it's not
me.
It's me too. I actually remember everything around the concert. Like I remember going to the concert. I remember going to my seats. I remember leaving, but like I usually don't remember the concert itself. The same, to be honest, during the symposia. Like I'm there, but I'm not there because like I'm doing like so many different things, and I literally have to watch the video to kind of remember like what actually happened because like so much was happening. And I love this comment from Kim. A Prince concert is the feeling. It's so great, and I love Blade Brown. Yes, our memory cards only hold so much space.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so you mentioned Love Sexy, I know, for instance, like, and I can remember stuff from the Atlanta show, but what triggers it is if I see like a Love Sexy show from another place on like YouTube or something, then I remember like, oh, like when he was in Atlanta, this happened. You know what I'm saying? So like certain things trigger certain things for me about, you know, seeing Prince live or stuff like that or whatever. Even with some other people, you know, I've seen Sadiq a few times, and like if I'm hearing like listening to one of his like albums like Ray Ray or something, I'm like, oh, I remember when he was here, he did this, that, or whatever type deal. So
that's funny. I was gonna say, but then I think the other side, I think where the artists have learned how to embrace it and do it right, and it has become moments, would be like Usher to me, like those moments of Usher going to the crowd with, you know, and doing the same. We would never have gotten those if people didn't have their phones. And I think they don't take away from. I think it's like he's understood how to embrace that and use it to the benefit to make you want to go to the show because you want to have your kind of moment, or at least see that moment in person when you're there of him walking through, singing to the girls. So I think there's a way. I think the artists are starting to figure out like they ain't going nowhere. You're not going to ban them. It's impossible. So there's a way to embrace it and to structure a new style show that embraces that type of stuff because it's just a part of the game. It's not gonna.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
You know, yeah.
So I really want to point out Carol's comments. And Carol, you've been posting a lot of amazing comments. It would be nice if we could see a video of the concerts right after, taken by a pro, not 10K people with phones held up. I've never understood why, because like since like the 90s or late 90s or early 2000s, you could go to a church service, and as soon as you were leaving that church service, you could buy a cassette of that today's sermon.
Yep.
And I was like, why won't they do that for live performances? Like, you literally could buy either an audio recording or a video recording of the show that you just saw.
Record
I think that would be really brilliant.
Yeah. I think the record companies in the place of that. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of, you know, the church, obviously, they own everything they say out their mouth, except for God.
Yeah, good point.
They probably did a cover song or such and such in that set. I
think if indie artists had would have had a way to do that, that would have been great. I think it would have, could have caught on. I mean, surely, I don't know how that would have worked for a Prince show, but that would have been some long lines after. Yeah. I mean, me too. Like, because I'm just trying to think, because, when he did the musicology thing, like you got a disc when you came in. So he could have actually, man, recorded a sound check and just been like, I'm giving you this live thing or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
He's way too particular. You would have never.
Yeah.
You would have to let, you know what I mean? There's no way he's not going to let something go through his filter. Like, nah, he just let nothing go out there.
Yeah, but yeah. That's like an interesting point to D'Angelo. Like, a lot of artists could have made some extra money, doing that. I mean, especially during the cassette era of things that would have panned out pretty good.
Yeah, Grateful Dead.
Yeah, they did have a taper section. All right, so I got more articles to read, and we're gonna go over so if either of you have to leave, obviously, you can leave. This is a really interesting article. I got to read it because it's in response to an article I've already read, and also it's a really great review of the Toronto one in terms of how it's descriptive of the Toronto show. So Prince, Too Much Play and Not Enough Music by Andrew Dreschel. Hello, Toronto, the disembodied voice intoned limply. And when I say this is not like a positive review. What I mean, like, this is a great review, is how descriptive it is. And Ricky, every time you
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, every time you hit your thing, it causes noise. So hello, Toronto, the disembodied voice intoned limply. My name is Prince, and I've come to play with you. Yeah, well, let's hope the next time the reigning royal scion of rock drops by for some fun and games, he sticks to music and leaves his tedious, neurotic baggage at home. Prince's idea of playing with people smacks uncomfortably of a man who uses the stage as a therapeutic substitute for his psychiatrist's couch. The 26-year-old musical whiz kid from Minneapolis appears to be on some kind of wacky liberation through sex and God trip that leaves you wondering if he's trying to establish some sort of messianic cult or if he escaped from a booby hatch. Then you look around and see 20,000 people getting off on it, and you wonder if you're missing something. Fortunately, the old folk tale about the emperor's new clothes comes to mind, and you breathe a sigh of relief. The pity is last night's concert at Maple Leaf Gardens, which will be repeated tonight, began with such soaring promise. From the moment the huge purple curtain went up and billowing clouds of dry ice began to wave across the stage into the front row seats, the atmosphere in the arena was charged with a kind of electric anticipation, like we just talked about. Prince skillfully heightened the suspense by delaying his entrance. He finally appeared dressed like a Regency dandy in a lime green outfit, slowly rising up from a trap door in the stage. Leading the band in a roaring rendition of Let's Go Crazy, Prince danced, slid, and rolled around like a man possessed. The audience went berserk, and it looked as if it was going to be a classic concert. And for the first half hour or so, Prince more than lived up to his reputation as one of the premier guitarists and showmen currently on the go. Looking like a weird cross between Elvis Presley, Little Richard, and Liberace, the star of Purple Rain was a pocket dynamo. The diminutive rocker scaled the side speakers, boogied, twirled, and ripped through riffs without rest. The light show was stunning throughout. The dry ice never stopped pouring over the stage. Wind machines whipped it into spooky patterns, and the band was as tight as a vice grip. The problem was the whole thing was soon bogged down by Prince's bloated opinion of himself. The first seeds of excess began to sprout when he left the stage. The band laid on a long instrumental interlude, and guitarist Wendy Melvoin began tossing flowers into the audience. When Prince returned, wearing a purple frock coat to satisfy his color fetish, the seeds began to blossom, and the suspicion that the show was being gratuitously padded out took rot. Sitting down at the piano and tinkling the keys, Prince began to talk. Except for some snatches of music, he talked incessantly for about 30 minutes. What's worse, he didn't have much to say. And I'm going to go through some of those. He climbed atop the piano and began slithering around suggestively. Later, he dedicated a song to the creator. And he ran up a platform, stripped to his underwear, plunked himself in a bathtub, and arched his back so that the shimmering tinsel from the shower head ran between his legs. A few minutes later, he reappeared.
He was on one. That's like that Billy.
A few minutes later, he reappeared through the trapdoor, dressed in black. Guitarist Melvoin dropped to her knees. They went through some suggestive pantomimes, and he ended up lying full length on the stage, undulating wildly. Now, at first, all this preposterous behavior was rather amusing, but the longer it went on, the more unpleasant it became. Most rock concerts created a bread and circus excitement, but Prince Rogers Nelson's version was not only more juvenile than the norm, it was unforgivably boring. The impact of songs like When Doves Cry, 1999, Literary Corvette was lost in the unbearable welter of his self-indulgence. There's no denying Prince is talented, but he could certainly profit by learning a little restraint. And then he starts talking about C Liegh, and he ends by saying, needless to say, the audience loved it. Now, obviously, this isn't a positive. Well, I mean, it's actually a mix. I mean, it's actually not overly negative. It's actually there was some positivity and there was some negativity. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I loved about this particular review was just how descriptive it was in terms of talking about what outfits Prince was wearing, but also like the movements that Prince was doing. Like it's like a really, I thought he did a great job with describing, for someone who, if you had never gone to the concert or haven't had an opportunity to watch Prince and the Revolution live, I thought it was an interesting description. But other than that,
I'm not mad at the review.
Me neither.
It's an early Prince, and like I said, I don't know if this gentleman has had experience with Prince before, and this is Prince he was just becoming the superstar, so it wasn't like a thing yet. I mean, you know what I mean? Like when you go to and you know what to expect. So I'm sure he's like, what is this? Like I never seen nothing like, you know, and he's probably not listening to that type of music all the time. And so it's just like, I've never seen this type of, because I would imagine, you know, as Prince kept going, some of these things are addressed, and he's not the first reviewer who said some of this stuff either. So
no, not at all.
It can't be just him. So I get a little bit of it, you know. Yeah. Prince could probably be in rare form sometime. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I mean, I don't think it was like pulling teeth enough for these writers to go to a free show, you know, that their job may have paid for, that they go sit through. And it's not like, you know, it's not like it's, you know, a boring snooze fest. It's like the hottest ticket going. Yeah. So
that's the other part, because it is the hottest thing. You're going to have a little level of snarky, a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, let me see what this is all about.
Especially if it's an artist that's not, like you said, in your universe of listening.
Yeah.
And it's not in your regular rotation of things. You're trying, because, you know, when a lot of those writers probably saw the movie phenomenon and probably was like, well, what's the hype all about?
Right.
You know, and then they get to the show and they've never seen, you know, like the 1999 show, the controversy shows, or the, you know, like Dirty Mind shows. So like they're going off what the movie gave, and they just wanted to see if he could deliver from the excitement of, say, the movie. And so
and I'm sure though that some of them didn't even go see the movies. Peter.
Even that too, yeah. I mean, I am in agreement with that also.
All right, so go to the next article. This is in the Toronto Star. I want to read the caption of the photo at the top. I just think it's funny. It says, "A pussycat, ? Prince writhed across the piano, telling his fans, 'I'll do things you no man ever dreamed of.' But reviewer Peter Goddard says he's about as dangerous as Lawrence Welk."
Wow. Who would be Lawrence Welk for the younger people to understand that?
Hey,
Who would you think is that?
he's about as let's see, who could be the Lawrence Welk equivalent for 2024? That's a good question.
But Lawrence Welk, for those of you who don't know, he was like a big band leader. And I love Lawrence Welk.
He's like an older white man, right?
Yeah, he was an older white man. And he used to come on, he had his own TV show. And
it came on Saturdays or something like that.
Yeah, Saturdays or Sundays. I watched it every weekend because we didn't have that many channels in Alabama. We only had 3. So you had to take what you could get. And I think it was Hee Haw and then Lawrence Welk, or Lawrence Welk, then Hee Haw. So that was a huge part of my childhood. All right, so I want to read this because it is interesting. Prince seduces with sexy serving a Baroque rock and roll by Peter Goddard. And here we go. Before we begin to deal with Prince's wonderfully sleazy Baroque and roll extravaganza at Maple Leaf Gardens last night, we must answer that crucial question. Is Pop's new purple terror, all 5'3" of him, to be taken seriously? Is he a molester of souls, as one mortified local fundamentalist group would like us to believe? Is he consumed by sexual lust, as last night's show will lead us to believe, especially when he writhed across the piano to tell everyone in the audience, pant, pant, and I won't go down. I'll do things you no man ever dreamed of. Is he a scam? Is he for real? Is he after your daughters, your sons, even your favorite rock and roll critic? Nah, he's about as dangerous as Lawrence Welk, maybe less so, in fact. He is remarkably self-centered and even more remarkably theatrical about it. And like Little Richard before him, he's found a theme that allows him to carry it all off, sex and salvation. Last night's show was looser than those he gave at the tour's beginning weeks back in Detroit. It was also longer, more personal, and more dangerous. He contradicted himself. He tried more. He took more risks. More than anything, he was sexier. Call it softcore hard funk. He knows exactly where the sweet meat is, and he starts to
all right.
and he starts to nibble at it right away. And as went out of nowhere last night, he blessed the gathering by saying, "You have a good and beautiful city." There was a collective gasp from I can't get over sweet meat, I'm sorry, from the 17,500 fans. This was as cool and funky a crowd as the Gardens has seen all year. Many were in purple, some with "I hate Michael Jackson" buttons, and even some clones of his purpleness himself with frills at their wrists and throats. Was he mentioning us? Everyone seemed to wonder. Yes, indeed. Only, I feel like, let's see. Yes, indeed. Like that time, it was with an unlikable combination of civic pride and sex. "Do you like me?" he cooed further. "Then maybe I'll come back. I'd like you too." Now, if there's an older pitch in show business, I don't know what it is. Well, yes, I do. This has always been my favorite place to play. Prince may call his band The Revolution, but all his jive and sexuality, preening and close sense. Oh, this must be I feel like that's a different, I don't think this is the same. So the same person. So I won't read that because I feel like that's different. So I want to go over to another article on the same page called "Teens Find Mirror and Prince Mystique" by Greg Quill. It says, "You want to know what Prince is all about? You won't get a simple answer from any of the teenagers who abandoned themselves last night to the Minneapolis rock stars extravaganza at Maple Leaf Gardens. I heard he refuses to sleep in the hotel," gasped one breathless young thing bearing a purple guest pass. "He sleeps in a van in the parking lot with a dog in a purple coat."
Hilarious.
Sharon Fernandez, 17, liked the mix of sex and innocence in Prince's first show in Toronto. And Fernandez and her friends came to see the character from the Purple Rain movie, the young romantic, tragically misunderstood by his parents. Sharon doesn't get along with her folks either. She understands Prince's personal revolution against senseless authority. She knows exactly what he's talking about in his steamy one-on-one bedroom rap. That's Normal's teenage stuff, given epic dimensions in Prince's 90-minute opera. She and many other fans last night also saw a connection between Prince's satire during Darling Nikki, he made rather aggressive love to a speaker cabinet, and Prince, the metaphysician. He's an animal, but he's deep, said Sharon Frond, 17. All that stuff about salvation and the creator, about 20 minutes of Prince's show, now deals with moral catharsis. I could get into it as well. See, I'm Catholic too. For cousins Mona and Chris Sacker, 13 and 17, Prince's Purple Promise paid off too. The Regina High School students had won tickets from CBC TV's Video Hits and were being chauffeured around for the night in limousines, sharing their ecstasy with a camera crew. The only people in the gardens who weren't really happy last night with trying to sell Prince's tour paraphernalia, which is owned and distributed in North America by Toronto promoter Michael Coyle, calls Concert Productions International, brought Prince to town. Nothing's selling because it's too expensive, one disgruntled concession stand operator said. So
the merch ain't selling, huh?
Yeah, because it's too expensive.
Yeah, merch was I'll share that later, but yeah, I do remember that. I'll just share that later.
All right, so I'm trying to go through this really quickly. So Prince adds a fifth St. Paul concert. Tickets go on sale today. It was on the Tuesday, December the 4th. The main reason why I wanted to show this is that it says it will make the Prince series the biggest concert event in the history of Minnesota, with about 90,000 concert goers, said Janelle Kampf of Schoen Productions. So I thought that was cool at this point. And then I'm not going to read all this, but I want everything that I'm about to show you in black is from this one newspaper, the Boston Phoenix, and it says that it is an advertising supplement. I would love to know if anybody knows anything about this, because I'm assuming maybe Warner Brothers maybe paid for this advertisement, because it's going to go on for a long time. But I was curious why Boston, like if you're going to go through the motion of having this multi-page advertisement supplement in a newspaper, why Boston of all places? So this is like an actual newspaper. This is the first page. And then if you go on, you can see that there's this article, Prince, where he's been and where he's going. And then at the bottom, they have this discography. And I just want us to pause just for a moment here at this discography. This is when Prince only had 6 albums. To think about it, that's Prince's entire discography up until this point in this one little area. And he would go on, to release so much more music, so many more albums, so many more singles. But this is when it was actually manageable. Crazy to look at. And then also I want to show you, this is still a part of this advertising supplement. And I want you to notice that the LP is $5.99. The cassette is $5.99. And also one of the things I loved about this spread for Strawberries records and tapes is that you can also see the proteges at the bottom. And you got Sheila E., you got the Time, Apollonia 6, and it also includes Shaka Khan, I Feel For You. And so I just thought that was kind of cool to have this major page spread. And then also I love the design. Again, this is a newspaper, and this was pretty, I'm a designer by trade. This was pretty radical, the way that they're positioning the type on this newspaper spread. And they're essentially reviews from a lot of different cities, which I thought was great. And then it goes on to have ad for the Purple Rain VHS, which was $29.98, which was a lot of money back then.
Very much so.
Yeah, very much so. But this full page ad for the VHS. And then you can see like see Prince live in Dallas. And again, they were having like these competitions in every city, it seems, or major cities at least. And I do want to read at the top right corner were these Prince reigns at WBCN, if I'm right with the radio station. So the first person is Mark Parento. Prince is one of the most vibrant artists of the last 10 years. He's a person who brings sex back to rock and roll where it belongs. He's an entertainer who has the ability to turn on both men and women orally and visually. We will enjoy Prince's music for years to come. That's Mark. And then Carter Allen, as Prince is a true artist and has been acknowledged everywhere as such. But if you still think that's bull, go see the man perform. Everyone talks about his black jock strap and near naked gyrations, but the real meat is his splendid guitar playing, octave, golden throat, and a parade of dazzling and sweaty muscular movements. A Prince show is in constant motion, and that includes the audience.
Okay, Carter Allen, that's the real meat, golden throat.
Yeah. And then Ken Shelton says Prince is the missing link between rock and roll and R&B. He has taken sex and music out of the closet, put it into the grooves and on the airwaves. And Charles Laquidara, I've never seen his videos because I don't get cable. I've never seen him live because I can't stay up that late, but I like his records a lot, a real lot.
Hilarious.
Thought that was interesting. Another ad for Strawberries Records and Tapes. And then again, they're showcasing the Prince's proteges. That's their language, not mine. And then there's another ad again. And then this was the end of this like whole, that was just all in one newspaper, which I thought was really fantastic.
They went all in.
They went all in. All right. And I'm not going to read this because we've been talking a lot about, not the whole thing, but just a little bit. This is from the Cincinnati Enquirer. And just, I love the way that they wrote this.
Yo. Can I just spotlight the brother with the boom box? You can see the Prince and Michael in Flume, but that was the look right there. That was me. The Jerry, you had the drip, the Jerry curl pop in. Yeah, man, that was the 80s for sure.
And I love that he's out front.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So because of time, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I do like these 3 lines. Just how fast did the tickets go for the January 22nd show? Read the figures and weep. At 10:10 a.m., 1,858 tickets were sold at the rate of 185 a minute. At 10:20 a.m., 3,454 tickets were sold at 160 per minute. By 11 a.m., the rate slowed to 149 tickets a minute with a total of 9,261 tickets sold. And according to Ticketron Area's manager, Mark Schoner, this was business as usual. For a major show, when we put a Neil Diamond concert on sale, we usually do 8,500 to 9,000 in the first hour. Prince's first hour sales pace was well ahead of the record Led Zeppelin set in 1977 when the grandpa of heavy metal rock bands came to the Coliseum that year for 2 shows. 18,000 tickets were available, and then it goes on. Anyway, I love this photo.
One thing I don't know anything about this, the ticket world back then, but I'm curious how the money was broken down, because I imagine most of this was cash sales, and you're buying the tickets, and like I wonder, like, what's the overhead on the tickets? Like, how much was the broker getting, or whoever's selling the ticket? How much do they get? And like, how much does it finally go back to Prince? And I'm just curious, like, how do they even exchange the money? Like, are you really counting on them to bring all the cash back to something, or are they just buying the tickets allotment and then they're reselling them? I was just very curious back then how
that's a good question.
Worked back then, because it wasn't like no digital transfers and shit.
No, not at all.
No money for them tickets. Oh man, Break City Productions took all the cash. They dipped. I don't know where they did.
Yeah. All right, here we go. This is another great photo. I love this photo. And here's
80s babies.
Yeah, it says concert goers Allison Upton, Liz Meeker, and Amy Uptown, all of Akron, Ohio. And the title of this is What's White Outside, Purple In, a Prince concert during a snowstorm. What else? By Dennis McInnis. I don't know. Try to figure it out. A skinny guitar and piano playing kid from Minneapolis who shares a name with thousands of German shepherds sells out the Coliseum.
Hmm?
Supposedly, a lot of people named their German shepherds Prince back then.
Yeah.
Oh, they got some nice shade back there.
Yes.
Think about it. Like,
Shade you have to think about. More than 36,000 seats in 4 hours for shows Wednesday and today. That's crazy. More than 36,000 seats in 4 hours for shows Wednesday and today. The first bad snowfall of the year hits the Akron area, but almost 18,000 people still try to make Wednesday's show, some arriving in time to hear only the last song. That's how bad the snowstorm was.
damn, I'd be hot.
Yeah. After a 40-minute delay to accommodate concert goers.
I mean, imagine that you finally get to the show and like, hey man, you in my seat. It's almost so.
Hey,
You know the old girl.
And you know you ain't getting none tonight.
hey, man, what's that Richard Pryor bit where he talked about people, brothers come he said people coming back find our brothers done took their seats.
All right. You're like Playboy, the show's almost so. You came off to the front. I don't know where you was at.
Oh man.
My bad. Look.
Oh man.
All right, and I just want to read just a little bit at the bottom. It says there were purple roses, carnations, balloons, T-shirts, ties, sweatshirts, tops, belts, lingerie, pants, full-length leather, and I don't have the. Oh, yes, I do. Full-length leather coats, earrings, eyeshadow, lip gloss, and of course, purple hair.
Mm.
Two concert goers sporting purple hair Wednesday were Beth Bowley and Gerda Huffman, both 17 and from Shreve, south of Worcester, and students at the Wayne County Joint Vocational Schools. There was nothing special about purple hair this night, said Beth. We wear it like this sometimes. So what's the big attraction? I like his music, Beth said. Gerda dubbed Purple Rain her all-time favorite movie. Wait a minute. This guy is being labeled a nationwide sex object. Acme and Click stores have taken Purple Rain albums off the shelves because of sexually explicit lyrics printed on the album jackets. He's good looking, Beth said. Others weren't so demure. He's filthy and he's nasty and I love him, said Karen Stick, 36, at least Karen's 36 of Twinsburg, who had brought her 15-year-old daughter, Dawn, to the show. What did she say? Dawn asked. That Prince does songs about sex. Dawn shot her mom a what a nerd look. His songs are about sex, but none of the kids take it that way. He's just explaining his life, Dawn said. Carol Randolph, also of Twinsburg, had accompanied the Brostecks and her daughter, Heather, 15, to the show. The mystique is everything with Prince, she said. Heather said he's cute. Asked about Michael Jackson, Heather said, ugh. Joanne Sturgeon, 22 of Canton, elaborated on the element of mystery that many fans said is a principal ingredient of Prince's appeal. He doesn't do interviews, and his girlfriends and stuff never tell anything about him, she said.
Mm.
Workers at the Coliseum said the audience for Prince was not only well-behaved, but especially well-dressed. Lord, look at some of these clothes, said Sandy Klinkowski, a barmaid for the Coliseum's Canteen Corporation Service Company. If I don't have trouble here at the bar, you know it's a pretty good crowd, she said. But Mrs. Klinkowski said that after seeing Prince's concert last year at the Coliseum, she wouldn't allow her children to attend. It wasn't what he said, she explained. It was what he did. He was rolling around on this brass bed with almost nothing on. Can you imagine? No. When Prince came on stage at 10 p.m. to wait for the snow, 10 p.m. is pretty late, there was a lot of kissing in the audience and a lot of screaming and crying, reminiscent of that moment of crowds years earlier that watched the Beatles and Elvis. A few minutes before, the Coliseum concourse had been swarming with a thorough mix of preteens with post-40s and couples of every description. Then the house lights inside the auditorium dimmed and a whoop went up. I don't know what a whoop is. And a whoop went up and a sea of purple disappeared from the concourse. Outside, a sea of white swirled against the Coliseum lights. Inside, a cheer drowned out the opening words of a song called Let's Go Crazy. It was being sung by a skinny kid from Minneapolis, Prince Rogers Nelson. Later, everyone would hate the drive home, but that moment, everyone loved him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I'm going to skip that. So just really quickly, I love seeing this winners are named at Image Awards ceremony. And I'm going to skip the television just for time's sake, but for motion pictures, it was Beat Street for the Image Awards. And then for supporting actor, it was Prince, Purple Rain. And supporting actress was Afri Woodard in Cross Creek. I don't know what Cross Creek is. For recording, the male artist was Prince. The female artist was Patti LaBelle. The blues artist was Bobby Blue Bland. The jazz artist was Miles Davis. The vocal group was the Jacksons. The song was When Doves Cry, Prince. Album, Prince, Purple Rain. And gospel album, No Time to Lose, Andre Crouch. So, and then there was a humanitarian award to the Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Is this the NAACP?
I don't know if this is NAACP, but it's just called the Image Awards. I don't know. Does anyone know if they're affiliated with the NAACP? Because it seems like it would say that if it was, but it just says the Image Award winners presented at ceremonies at the Music Center on Tuesday in LA.
Is it mostly African American artists, people being looked at?
That's what it looked like.
Yeah, it is.
It probably.
Yeah, they got somebody from 227 on there. I'm like, okay, that ain't.
Yeah. Yep, it probably is the NAACP.
That ain't a dead giveaway. The Jesse Owens story.
So Kim says yep. So I think it's NAACP. It seems like they would say NAACP.
But I mean, the Key of the Life Award, Bishop Desmond Tutu.
Yeah. So, and the Hall of Fame awards to Ella Fitzgerald, Alberta Hunter, Gordon Parks, Paul Robeson, Marian Anderson. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, so this is from just like listing upcoming concerts in Atlanta in December of '84. And I just love seeing, obviously, Prince and Sheila, but I also love seeing the Barkays and Kashif.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's wild. That's when they was hitting.
Yeah.
Let's go say Kashif. Oh, hell.
Yeah, Kashif and the Barkays. Yeah, that's different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like, I guess the Max and Tyrone Clark were also on the bill. So that would have been a show to see. All right. We don't have time, but I'll read this another day. All right, because we're already over. So if you haven't done your homework, make sure you watch the Yacht Rock documentary, especially if you love Michael McDonald.
I thought that was George Lucas for a second.
He does look like George Lucas, doesn't he?
Look, though, yeah,
he does when you glance at it. It's like, wait a minute.
Yacht Rock, Revenge of the Sith.
And Corey Henry is doing his final shows tonight, 2 sets. The first one sold out, but the second one still has tickets. And tomorrow night, I went to go see him on Thursday night. It was incredible. He was just on the piano, but he also had his Fender Rhodes, and he also had a kick drum. It was amazing. There's some video. We're going to put some video in the accompanying playlist so you can see what it's like. If you are in the tri-state area, please come out and support Corey Henry. Trust me, you will not forget the experience. I'm so happy, Audra, that you are here to go, no, I didn't yada yada Apollonia. I want to spend the time. I'm going to actually read those articles next week when we have more time. I don't want to, because I put them in there for a reason, because I thought it was great that they were being actually interviewed. But for the sake of time, we'll read them next week.
Apollonia?
Yeah.
She read a name like, kind of fucking name. Jill was wild.
Yeah. So don't forget about Omar, who's touring in the States, which is super rare because he's from the UK. So if you're anywhere in the cities, you want to go.
Where's such and such? Let me stop.
And let's see. We already mentioned this, but I highly recommend that if you can watch the Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe Edition review part 1 with the one and only Michael Dean.
Big sexy.
Big sexy.
It's 3 hours.
Yeah.
So,
Trace.
just so you know.
Yes, and this says part 1, so I'm assuming there's going to be more to come.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Awesome. Like I said, I had the best laugh in my life when I was watching it. Oh my God, when you were talking about Insatiable.
That's the quote. I'm gonna put that. You know, when they have the reviews, I had the best laugh of my life.
Yeah. It was so.
What did Prince say? What did Prince do this?
Yeah. All right. And don't forget about Jeremiah, especially during the holiday season.
Yeah.
So keep sending him love, keep helping out with the GoFundMe and things that nature. And there is a company playlist at Polish Style YouTube, all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to be adding those shows that D68A mentioned in terms of the Toronto show and the Sheila E set and some Corey Henry Live. I still need to add in there. Play 100 miles per hour today to celebrate our 100th episode. I couldn't play stream.
Yes.
So I hope
you know what? Shout out to you for your consistency. You know what I'm saying? Like you and Mike both, because that's you know, man, consistency is not an easy thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people fall off, and you know, this is kudos, like a testament to that. I know both of y'all, you know, it's just been a consistency, because I know there were some days you weren't here, D'Angelo. Mike was able to fill in, you know what I'm saying, do some things, you know. So shout out to both of y'all, man, for that. You know, and in the chat, you know, can we get a round of applause for the consistency? Because that's
100 is no joke.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Salute,
saying.
salute to everybody and everyone who's came through.
Yeah, you know, shout out to the people in the chat who showed up. I know consistently, you know, like for 100 days, like making it worthwhile, because we've had some good laughs with this. You know, I've been on a few episodes. You know what I'm saying? You know, got some good, you know, conversations and things to think about. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue that moving forward and whatnot. So.
Okay, quick question for Michael Dean.
Yeah, we'll get on that. There are some Work It Like a Job shirts out there, but I'll make sure that there's someone for the ladies. We'll get that popping. We might do a little thing with the headphones. Like, you want to get you some Michael Deans, we might start making that available.
This is business. That's what we need. A shirt with Billy Sparks on the front and the big glasses.
Hilarious.
Yes, and Dorothy, slave trade is a really popular documentary.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Dorothy. Yeah, you'll love that. 3 hours worth. I think it's 3 hours, right? 2 hours. I know it's 2 hours.
It's a lot of great information in there for sure. So it's definitely well worth the watch, in my personal opinion. And next week we will be reading pages 463 to 465 for week 50 of What Did Prince Do This Week. And don't worry, I should have hit that. So Michael Dean, take us out.
Well, again, we want to thank you, D'Angela, for creating this platform, making a space for us to enjoy our Saturdays with like-minded people. I'm having a ball. It has been great to have people like Ricky, C Liegh. Who's some of the other guests we had? JD, Author, of course.
Anil came.
Anil.
Yeah.
No, I'm forgetting.
Eric Leeds, Robita, Andrew Swinson,
Matt Bliston,
Duane Tudahl.
Yeah.
Duane. Yep. And
we got to give a special thanks for Duane for actually I asked him if he was okay with this, because he could have said, like, I don't want you reading my book.
We would have did it anyway, but you know, think that.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You know what I mean? You know, we were trying to give you some props.
But salute to Duane, and probably the most important contributors to this though are y'all in the chat, man. Everyone who comes every Saturday. That's the life. Like, it would be a different show if nobody was in the chat and we were just sitting here trying to like do something. So
feed off the energy.
y'all,
Yeah.
y'all make it what it is every week, man. So we salute you guys.
True indeed.
Yes, and I just want to say really quick, I love this comment from the Thriller Effect. We have gathered here today to see what Prince did this week, which is brilliant. Thank you, Thriller Effect. And LTK, thank you. So LTK said, I found your channel only a few chapters ago. I don't want it to end. What's next? So actually, we did a whole year last year. So if you want to go back to episode 1, we basically read Duane's book over the course of 2 years, week to week, and we're going to do the same thing next year with the next book, which is, I don't know where I put it, this one here. So if you don't have this one, this is the one that
I have it. I just don't have it with me, but I got it.
Yeah,
I think
and you can see it's pretty. It's. I think it's probably more pages even than this one. I need to check and see. So this is what we're going to be reading next for 2 years. So I'll have the schedule for you at the beginning of the year, and we try to break it down to bite-sized chunks so we can get through this together.
Yeah, this for me. This will be their Empire Strikes Back, but this is where it starts to. I mean, I love it. This is where it's gonna get good. Like,
yeah. You said Empire Strikes Back.
This is where it's. This is gonna be. There's gonna be some Luke's I'm your father's here. Oh man, this.
I love this from Blade Brown. We're going to France next year. That's right.
Yeah.
True.
There you go. Yeah, we upgrading.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna get my Christopher Tracy implant glued on. Yeah, y'all gonna hate me, boy. What does that say? Tell him it's Chinese.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The reason why I wanted to do this was so that we could get to this book.
Yeah. Couldn't start there first.
Yeah.
You ain't lying.
So we excited. We're gonna be cutting.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Sheridan, Wyoming. Crystal ball. The revolution's out of here.
Ooh, I love
it. Room. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Look at LTK has a suggestion. The stream is going to be in black and white.
Ooh.
Nice.
That'd be different.
All right. And the Thrill Effects had just went to Nice and took the monument pics from Parade. Nice.
Very nice.
Sure. All right, Becca Dean, take us out.
All right. Well, with that said, we're out of here. Have a good rest of your weekend. Work it like a job. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace. And I love this, Anna B. Purple Prince honors graduation. Now it's time for Purple Grad School.
Grad school.
Ooh,
Yeah.
there you go. Graduation. There you go.
Tough.
Graduation coming in a couple weeks. Goodbye, everyone. Have fun. Audra at Corey Henry. Wish I could join you.